it's like when you play a lot of Hunter, you just know what I mean. It's like you have those games. And Explosive Trap is obviously very good against Secret Paladin, and versus Zoo it's actually the best trap. It's actually better than Snake Trap, and people play around Snake Trap anyways. So, and if we leave Warrior open, Warrior, like the expectation of people that to bring Patron Warrior was much higher than Control Warrior, as I explained. There were also very few, just to target those three decks, Druid, Paladin and Warlock. And as expected, most people brought Patron Warrior, and against Patron Warrior, Snake Trap is also really weak. And so Explosive Trap is just overall better. And when you draw a trap, when you play 3 traps and you draw a trap, your second Mad Scientist will not be a dead card, and that's always nice. And it's in a lot of matchups, it's not bad to have the trap in your hand. Like even if you draw it, like if you draw a freezing trap against the Druid, it's a fine card to have. So Hunter's Mark, very important against Secret Paladin. This is like how you counter Secret Paladin as Hunter. You don't play cards like Flare, it doesn't do anything. Like when the Challenger comes down and you kill the traps, it doesn't, you still have to deal with the 6/6, good luck, have fun. No, but the way how you kill it is you play Unleash plus Hunter's Mark, you proc the secrets, you kill the buffed Challenger, and he is left with just competitive spirit usually, sometimes repentance, but we can easily play around that with Hunter. So Hunter is also like my most comfortable class. Like I have a lot of experience with Hunter. Like I have probably 20,000 games played since beta with Hunter, and like I know all the matchups, like I know how to mulligan, and I wanted to focus on practicing the other classes. Like I practiced the least with Hunter just because I know the matchups, I know how to play the matchups. So this was also important because the time is limited. We had like roughly less than 2 weeks for that tournament, so I really wanted to learn as much about Zoo. It's still, I feel like still I can learn so much about those two decks like Secret Paladin and Zoo. Even though I played so much Secret Paladin, I still feel like every day I can learn something new about it and about the matchups, just to increase your win ratio. So anyways, this is why I decided to go with Hunter. And then when I go Hunter, usually I like to, in tournaments, to take one Kazan Mystic, an Owl, but as you can see I don't have those cards. That would make my Freeze Mage matchup much worse. But since I know I will ban it, I don't have to take cards like that to improve that matchup. So it's very nice if you have like the starting point and the approach, just to focus on the matchups you want to target and ignore the matchup you're gonna ban. So the last remaining deck was very hard to find, and I practiced. I actually, Mech Mage was like the first that come to mind, but it seems very weak right now. Like it just feels very subpar compared to Zoo and Secret Paladin. I would say the mid-range Hunter is probably like tier 2, and like the Zoo and Secret Paladin are tier 1. And when I was testing Mech Mage, it was probably even slightly below tier 2. So I really didn't want to bring it. It's not that good against Paladin and Zoo. So I had to find like a deck that is weak to Freeze Mage. It doesn't have to be necessarily super weak to Freeze Mage, but it just, if it's weak to Freeze Mage, it is usually good against Druid. It's like, it just so happens. Because against Druid you just flood the board with minions, and that is usually very bad against Freeze Mage, if that is your win condition. So what is the deck? So yeah, first I wanted to play normal mid-range Druid, but I really didn't like the fact that Freeze Mage is one of my best matchups, and that just because Druid is broken, like the 3 most broken classes or decks are, in my opinion, Zoo, Druid in general, any Druid, and probably Secret Paladin. I'm still very undecided. It's very hard to rate Secret Paladin, like the consistency of Secret Paladin, because you play so many secrets in the deck. But it's obviously, like the Challenger is broken, but the deck, I'm not so sure. Anyways, I wanted to play mid-range Paladin. I qualified for Bucharest with mid-range Paladin, so it's doing very well for me. And I also play like a lot of mid-range Paladin. Mid-range Druid. But as I said, it's very good against Freeze Mage, and this is not something I would wanna play when I ban Freeze Mage every time. And it's also not good against the field. The thing about Druid, yeah, you can still beat all your bad matchups. Like, decks that are favored against you are usually just 55% or something. There's no Druid hard counter, that doesn't exist. When people say, yeah, you hard counter Druid, maybe the best deck against Druid is probably like Tempo Mage with double Mirror Entity, because a lot of people cut Danasa's Aspirants, some people don't even run any Aspirants, and then Druid is usually very weak against Mirror Entity. It prevents innovate plays, and oftentimes they run like a counter spell, and usually you don't have cards like to test. It's very expensive. But even those decks, I wouldn't even, maybe 60%, something like that. There's like no hard counter. There's like nothing that is 70% against Druid, I would say. Even like the best decks, just because Druid does Druid things. But besides that, those decks are still favorite. A lot of people will bring Patron, a lot of people bring... You're probably favored against Patron, but you can still lose against it. It's not like a super good matchup. Most Warlock players will have Zoo, but the people who bring Reno Lock, they will ban your Druid. So you don't even have that advantage. You have to think about the decks where the opponents where your Druid will not be banned. And against those players, they will usually have lineups that are good against your mid-range Druid. So I decided to go for Aggro Druid. It is very good against other aggro decks. It's most likely favored in all aggro matchups, and I tested it a lot. And I was always favored against Zoo, Secret Paladin, other aggressive decks, and also in the mirror. The mirror is like a little tricky. It can go either way. I don't think that any Druid is favored in the mirror, the aggressive or the mid-range Druid, just because the mid-range Druid can just outdraw you as well and just have the better curve. It's all about the curve. There's some small things you can do. It's probably easier to mess up with Aggro Druid than with mid-range Druid, because you're playing like minions that are very easy removable by the mid-range Druid usually, like a lot of 2 toughness minions, and you don't want to like innovate out like Lepanomes in playing to a swipe and stuff like that. And usually when you play mid-range Druid, you innovate out one big stuff and you know the opponent cannot kill it. But you should be, if you play 100 games, you're probably slightly favored with the Aggro Druid, just because like statistically you play the Fel Reavers, and that the opponent will always have the answer for the Fel Reaver is less likely, and that's like a... Druid is usually very weak against big minions, and you will have the board always, most of the time, for the mid-range Druid, so you should be favored in that matchup as well, which is good, which goes along with the other decks. And so that was my strategy. And the specific list I included one Sky Golem. I actually wanted, after more testing, but then there was already deck submission, I wanted to remove the Lepanomes from my deck, because I think they're super weak in all matchups. Like, I don't know why the card is in this deck. I don't think you need the 2 damage. The only matchup where this might be good is when you go against Reno Lock and you're first and you play the Lepanome, but in all other matchups it's bad. Against Secret Paladin, against everything, against Shaman, against everything. I don't like the Lepanome, so... it was too late already, so I had the Lepanomes, I had to deal with them, so I was like... Every time I played the Lepanome, I was like, greetings, and hoped the Lepanome will not ruin my game. But yeah, after all, the conclusion was my mid-range, my Aggro Druid was my strongest deck. I think I haven't lost a single game, I think, through the whole tournament of Aggro Druid. I don't remember. I think I won all games with Druid. That was my best deck. Kinda as expected a little bit. I practiced this also the most, because I was very scared with Aggro Druid. Because you don't have card draw. Like, once you lose the board, you lose the game. And you have no like replenishment, so you're limited resources, and oftentimes you do YOLO plays, like innovate fairy or stuff like that. I don't like that personally that playstyle. But yeah, that deck seemed to be strong, so I'm gonna look at the chat before like I start the game. So Garrett, come back. I'm back. It's okay, Savar. Pokrovac is a really good player. He's probably the strongest player in the top 8. Like when I was in Spain and I talked to Stancisca, he knew Pokrovac from Magic, and he said he's like a really good Magic player. And I played against him as well in Game Gyun. So Pokrovac is a really good player. I was drinking water. Really, that's the question. What was I drinking? I was drinking water. Or do you mean? Yeah, I have like a Red Bull. So this matchup pretty easy. Casper, I don't know what this means. Maybe he will explain it. Those letters. Like I always called him the letter guy. Like he's a very good player. He was my strongest opponent in this tournament. I knew him from before. He's like finished high legend, and he's also early legend. Like, so I know him mostly from ladder. So I know he's like a good player. So his lineup was Druid, Mage, Paladin, Warlock. It's usually very likely that they have Freeze Mage. I actually had written it down before the match. I was pretty sure I knew what he would ban against me. So let me see what. Usually when you see like, you kind of expect when you see Mage, first of all your first impression is Freeze Mage. It's way more likely in a band format that people bring Freeze Mage over Tempo Mage, and that was also the case for that tournament. I think I only saw like one Tempo Mage player. That was like Nyman. I haven't seen any other Tempo Mage player that came far. Anyway, and then when you have Freeze Mage, it's likely that this is Reno Lock, because then you will target with Freeze Mage you ban Warrior or Druid, and with Reno Lock you ban Druid, so it's likely, okay, then it's likely to ban Druid. Okay, so when just from those two decks, when you see that combination, then it's very likely that Druid will be banned. And yeah, Druid Mirror is coin flip, so that's not such a good matchup, and Paladin versus Druid can easily lose. It's not that good of a matchup either, so when you have those 4 decks, the most likely ban is Druid. That's like pretty easy. So for me it doesn't really matter, because all my 4 decks do pretty much the same thing, and the only information that for me is important is if this is like a Freeze Mage or a Tempo Mage. If this is a Tempo Mage, I'm not gonna ban it, because all my decks should be favored against it. But since it's Freeze Mage, it's my #1 priority ban. And like my second priority ban was Warlock, because from all the aggressive boss control-ish decks, Warlock is the strongest one, as I said, and Warlock can easily beat all my decks. It's not favorite or anything, but it's like 50% in almost every matchup, and you don't want to have like 50% in every matchup. That's like really bad. So if I'm if my opponent doesn't have Freeze Mage, then those two were on the same level. Patron Warrior and Zoo were on the same next level. I didn't want to ban Reno Lock. I think my decks are good against Reno Lock, because Reno Lock has to be lucky. Like every card that a Reno Lock runs is a one-off, and it should be inconsistent against decks that just draw more consistent in time, like from the beginning to the end, and then you can play around AoE and stuff. It's not, yeah, because I don't play like phase decks, like I play mid-range control-ish decks. Like if I would play a phase deck, I would be heavily unfavored against Reno Lock. So Like it's not a hybrid hunter, it's a mid-range hunter. So it was pretty easy to ban the freeze mage. So the next two second priority bans were Patron Warrior and Zoo. And Patron, it kind of depends on the player, because I know a lot of players don't know how to play Patron, they just bring Patron anyways. Then I would rather ban against them Zoo than Patron Warrior, because with Patron Warrior it has a higher skill cap, so people can easier mess up. Same goes with Rogue. Rogue is good against my lineup, but if I know that a player is not especially good with a Rogue, I'm not gonna ban Rogue against that guy. I would ban like Zoo over that. Against some players, I would ban like respect ban, if you so wanna call it. For example, against Show, I banned Patron over Zoo, because I know that Show is not as good with Zoo as with Patron, for example. That feeling when we can't use pen and paper, yeah, that was the worst, man. Like I was on stream, you know what I asked? I just wanted to write down the classes, so just to have them, you know. What did I ban? Just what did I ban, and the remaining classes. That's all. That's all I wanted. So during the game, that you don't have to focus. So you don't have to focus on like what is left, you know. You can easily mess up, because in the game you're just thinking about the game. You're not thinking about, yeah, what did I win with? What did my opponent win with? You know, what did we ban? And also like for picking next, this is important just to see it. And they said no. So that kind of felt bad, man. But yeah, we are like the players, we have to deal with that kind of stuff. Like there's no point in complaining. It's like we have to adjust to that. But we could like write down stuff before the game, for example, like before the ban, like we could write down stuff, like we could see what we're gonna ban and calculate the matchups, but we're not allowed to have that during the game. You can still talk with the bot running. Okay, yeah, this is like no, I will skip like when the I will not have the sound on, obviously, and I will just saying like for me it was pretty obvious to ban freeze mage. I don't know if you could expect that. Like if you didn't see my games before, this lineup could be like anything, right? You don't really expect Aggro Druid so much. We were allowed to use pen and paper on my location, so bad to have different rules. Yeah. Now, some people got like disqualified as well at some locations for the same reason. Other people didn't get disqualified, so that's really fucked up. Yeah, but that was very annoying, because in Magic you're allowed to do nodes, and so this is like the opening classes. I started with Zoo, just like a short rundown why I opened Zoo. With banning freeze mage against Druid, against Paladin I should be favorite, against Reno Lock in my opinion I should be favorite, and against Druid I should be favorite, so I'm favorite in all matchups, and so I have also the information. I wanted to get like a fast win, and then I'm up a game, and then it's like much easier to go from there, and I should be like overall in the series also be favorite. So, and I want to give multiple tries to the weaker decks instead of the good decks. So I don't want to lose with like a slightly weaker deck in the beginning, be behind in the series, and yeah, use up multiple tries. So I wanted to start with the best decks, get a win, hopefully, and then go from there. So he started with Paladin, it doesn't really matter. From his perspective, sure, to get some information, to see what kind of warlock it is. If you play against Reno Lock or Zoo, should be fine to go Paladin. Against Hunter, it should be fine as well. And Mirror, I don't like to go from his perspective, to be really honest. I think Reno Lock would have been the best opening deck. Because when you face a Paladin Mirror, you should dodge that matchup. I think it's pretty stupid to force that matchup, but he might be thinking, yeah, I'm not gonna go Paladin first, something like that, you know, those mind games. But overall, just statistically, like, I cannot face the Mirror if I don't pick it, right? So I usually tend to ignore when my opponent has a Secret Paladin as well in his lineup. I try to avoid this matchup just because to get above 50% in the mirror is very hard. In a tournament setting with good players, to have 55% in the mirror is already very sick, and I don't think that anyone has that. I don't even think that Osaka should have 55% against like equally good players in a tournament with Secret Paladin, just because it's that draw depending. Like this specific matchup, there's like a lot of small things you can do, but I think Zoo Mirror is more skill intensive than Secret Paladin Mirror. I think Secret Paladin Mirror is really, it comes down to the draws most of the time. So getting 55% in the mirror in a tournament setting is already pretty sick. So that's about that. So that's why I would not pick a Paladin here. And yeah, I want to talk more about my perspective than my opponent's perspective. So I would probably, from his perspective, when I ban Druid, I would probably open Reno Lock. Should be favored against all my decks, get an easy win early, except my Zoo, but he doesn't really know. But it should not matter for him too much because he plays combo Reno Lock. You're like favorite in the mirror. If I would play like a greedier Reno Lock deck, you get my point. It doesn't really matter. So let's go here. I'm gonna maximize this, so there you go. Okay, like I will probably also upload this and I will probably cut it. I like to answer questions, like anything seems like a good counter pick. Anything is also really bad in this tournament just because of the explained decks. Anything is not good against Zoo, anything is not good against Druid, and anything is not good against Freeze Mage. A lot of people might think or get the wrong expression that anything might be good against Freeze Mage because you run double heal board, double Lay on Hands, double True Silver, like a lot of heal, but anything is horrible against Freeze Mage. Like it's too slow, it has no pressure, it cannot pressure the Freeze Mage at all. Anything is super slow, way too slow. It's like way slower than the Freeze Mage. Like to get a second anything up, and then you still have to like proc the Ice Block and then kill him afterwards. So it's really bad against Freeze Mage. And also Lay on Hands is an 8 mana heal for 8, that's terrible. And also Healbot is not good, and you have no lower tap. So that's not a good matchup. So bringing freeze anything in general was really bad in that setting because there's a lot of aggressive decks, a lot of druids, and you should not be favored against, and almost nobody will bring control. That's like your best matchup. So just in general, anything should not be that good. So there you go. I go first. Let's talk about this. So first I have to like come to the realization. So my opponent, like I'm trying to think about this whole matchup and what I have to do and how I have to approach it. So my opponent plays Paladin. 99% chance he's Secret Paladin like everyone else. And here I have an interesting decision. I'm not sure if I mulligan the Knife Juggler away. I probably kept it because I have the Hunter Creeper. There's very few matchups you keep the Knife Juggler. It's usually always bad. You keep it if you have like a synergy with the Knife Juggler, but usually it's much better late game with the Implosion or with the Hunter Creeper, or when you can protect it. So I have 2 free drops. It's not optimal, but you can have like worse cards. You can draw like a Defend of Argus or Doomguard, something like that, which is slower. And because I have the Hunter Creeper and Dark Peddler is basically a free drop, the only thing that I'm missing is my turn 1. But I'm going first already, so it's not that bad. The worst thing that can happen is that he plays a secret, but then I have the Hunter Creeper. He might just play a secret anyways because he expects my 2-drop. Worst case scenario for him, like the only secret you would probably keep in this matchup is Noble Sacrifice, and it's good against like Peddlers, it's good against the Direwolf, it's good against the Knife Juggler, it's good against the Flame Imp, but it's bad against Voidcaller and it's bad against Hunter Creeper. So if I don't play a minion turn 1, then he might just go for the Noble Sacrifice because it's mana efficient, because he might have the mini-bot, Hound Creeper and Knife Juggler follow-up. Then you would definitely play the Noble Sacrifice on first, even if I didn't play a minion. So for him it would be then really bad if I play like a Hound Creeper, but he doesn't have that information. So even me not having a 1-drop here can turn out to be good for me if he goes for the secret. And if he coins out a 2-drop, then I can still go from there after turn of Sky. Okay, let me see, 1 sec. So as I said, so all things considered, this hand should be fine. It's like I can go for different lines, so I kept all. So here I drew the Abusive Surgeon. Obviously, because my hand is kind of, as Zoo, you just want to get your stuff out of your hand. There's some merits in keeping the Abusive. Usually in most matchups I would keep the Abusive and not play on one, because I can trade with the Haunted Creeper into 3 toughness targets. But in this specific matchups where he plays cards like Minibot, I would just play the Abusive Sergeant. Also, there's a likelihood that he would play a Noble Sacrifice when he sees Abusive Sergeant. And if I play Abusive Sergeant and then he plays a Secret, it's most likely Noble Sacrifice, and then I would just not attack and play the Haunted Creeper. That's why I decided to play the Abusive Sergeant. I was just thinking about also my turn 2, how many cards he kept. So I'm always like also playing with like a mindset, if he does that, then I'm gonna do that. So if he goes for a secret, I would not think, there's like very few secrets. It's also like the way how you play around secrets is also like statistical. Like you usually don't play around competitive spirit and redemption just because it's wrong math wise. It's like the same reason why you don't play around innovate combo, just because it's so unlikely to happen. Like in a lot of the times you would lose if he has it, but statistically it's better to just not play around it to make a better play. And in that case, it's way more likely he has Avenge than Noble Sacrifice, than Competitive Spirit or Redemption. Here, like Redemption would be a fine play here. If he has like a Minibot follow-up or a Hunter Creeper follow-up, then you would definitely play Redemption here. But it's less likely than having a Noble Sacrifice or Revenge. But because the information that he has here is my Abusive Sergeant, and there could be easy like a Knife Juggler or a Peddler turn 2 play. So Noble Sacrifice is a good play here. So that's like another indication that he saw my Abusive Sergeant, so there's a pretty good likelihood that this is a Noble Sacrifice. So I'm just gonna go for the Hunter Creeper here. This is for me a pretty easy play, and not attack and see what he's gonna do next. It kind of also depends on what kind of 2-drop he plays, because Paladin usually or sometimes has like multiple choices, like playing the Hunter Creeper or the Knife Juggler or the Minibot, and then if you see which minion comes down, you can also kind of guess. So he just decides to hero power here, and that keeps me kind of guessing. Like I haven't seen a 2-drop, so if there would be a Knife Juggler, I would very likely expect a Noble Sacrifice, like 90% sure. But since I just see the hero power, I was thinking like, then I go back to the turn 1. It just makes sense that it would be Noble Sacrifice from my turn 1 and his turn 1, like from that thinking. So it doesn't really change my thinking about that. But now I'm just thinking like, how do I approach this Noble Sacrifice? And okay, my hand is Knife Juggler and Double Doomguard. Double Doomguard is really bad. So I have the option here to live tap, which is usually wrong with double Doomguard in hand. You don't want to discard cards, so you want to empty your hand. And so the only two real options I have here is play the Knife Juggler or play the Duck Peddler. So as I explained earlier, this is very likely Noble Sacrifice. So I don't really want to run. My first line of play was I want to run my Hunter Creeper in. But since he just hero powered, usually there comes like a power minion on the board, and I have to sacrifice. Like if this would be a mini bot, okay, for example, I have to run in my Hunter Creeper, proc the Noble Sacrifice, and then run my Abusive Surgeon into the mini bot. But in this specific case, because he just used hero power, I can still hold on to my Hunter Creeper and play around his coin because he still saved the coin master for battle. And against Coin Master for battle, it would be much better if I sacrifice here my Abusive Sergeant into the Noble Sacrifice and then clear the 1-1 and have a 1-1 on board, play the Peddler, maybe get like a good 1-drop, and then use the Hunter Creeper for later in combination with the Knife Juggler, because he also doesn't know that I have the Knife Juggler in hand, so I kind of want to hide that information as well. So playing the Knife Juggler here would be really bad. Like if I proc it with the Abusive Surgeon and just let my Hunter Creeper live as a 1-1, I don't want to show him that I have the Knife Juggler. Then yeah, he could play around that or kill my Knife Juggler with a weapon. So in that case, I decided, so it was not a misplay that I didn't attack turn 1 with my Abusive Surgeon. It changed, my line of play changed because he decided to play a 1-1. It's like a very low threat and I can hold on to my Hunter Creeper. So as I explained, if this would be like something bigger, I'm forced to proc my Hunter Creeper, but here I can save it because I have the Knife Juggler in my hand. So this is why I decide to attack, even though expecting a Noble Sacrifice, and I know this will obviously die. I decided it's more value against Master for Battle to hold onto my Hunter Creeper here, since I have the Knife Juggler already in hand. Oh yeah, I have to change my deck, I'm sorry about that. And with my hand, it should be very... This is also like another thing. I should be playing slightly greedy because of the double Doomguards in my hand. It will be harder to get board control because I have only like 2 viable options. So here I see it is not Noble Sacrifice, so it was pretty easy that I just yeah, go face, attack, kill the minion and pass. So now I expect Avenge. But this is, you can see, this is why all the things that were going through my head. I took the Mortal Coil. Oh yeah, the decision. I didn't have much time, but I think I picked really fast because the rope was ticking. Oh, I wanted to. Yeah, I wanted to go the decision. Okay. In this matchup, it's very unlikely I will get the Reliquary Seeker out as a 5-5 because it's like an aggressive deck, so that's a no-brainer to not pick a 1-1-1. And the Corruption is also really bad against these matchups because it's maybe good against the Challenger, but it's way too slow. So Mortal Coil, behind this card is there Mortal Coil, so it's pretty easy choice. This is why I picked so fast. Yeah, the casters, this is why I decided, by the way, this is why I decided to do like, I want to do, if you guys like it, I would be happy to do this more often, because whenever I like rewatch my games and then hear the casters, I'm pretty angry because they don't understand, like they don't see at all what is going through my head, and then they're like, I actually caught the beginning of that, like when I was back in my hotel and watched like the beginning of this game, and then I heard like, people say, oh, what? He changed his mind. Why is he attacking with the abusive? So that's like a misstep. No, I explained like I'm pretty sure now you're like, it's clear for you guys why decided to not attack with the Abusive Surge on turn 1, but now I decided to attack with it regardless if it's Noble Sacrifice. Because the line of playing changes according to how my opponent plays. So here's the Cockhammer, so really good for me. That's like a very inefficient. He plays a 2/3 weapon. So at this point I'm favored in this matchup because he plays like every single turn is very, very important that you do like very efficient mana efficient plays in this matchup, and that he plays a 2/3 weapon for 3 mana. Like compared to Eagle Hombo, Eagle Hombo is already a really bad card, but it's like a 3 attack weapon. Playing a 2 attack weapon without the buff to 3 mana in this matchup is like a big advantage. For me, this is a no-brainer to play the Im Gang Boss here, but I'm still like hovering over cards, keep him guessing. I don't want him to know like this is like a very obvious decision. That's like the decision to Knife Juggler and Hero but tap, but he will just die to the Hero Power. That is not a real decision. Im Gang Boss is pretty obvious, but I'm obviously hovering a little bit over cards. Pretend that I'm thinking this turn. Like if I just slam down the Im Gang Boss, it looks like I had no real play here. So you don't want to give out too much information as well. And because he didn't really play cards, I know he has like slow cards. Like another thing, I'm also thinking about what he has, right? Because he played like a Cockhammer here, that was his strongest play. If you do something like this, it is your strongest play. So I don't expect Master for Battle right now. Yeah, I don't expect Master for Battle or like it could be a combination of Knife Juggler Master for Battle for later. He wants to save, so you can set up with the Cockhammer, like you can proc the Hunter Creeper and then set up the Knife Juggler Master for Battle. But I expect some Doctors in his hand. I expect some Challengers, some Sludge Belchers, lower tap, Dr. Boom, Tyrion. This is what I expect from his hand because he played like a Cockhammer and he Hero Power turn 2. And also Divine Favor is a very likely card in his hand, so I would play around that as well if I can. Because Hero Power turn 2 and Cockhammer turn 3 really shows that you have either a bunch of useless secrets or a bunch of very slow cards. So he decides to coin out the Lord Tap here. This is pretty good for me. The reason why it's pretty good for me, it is as difficult to kill as a Sludge Belcher. No, it is easier to kill than a Sludge Belcher, even though it has more attack. And he doesn't have the coin for the Challenger, so I have more time to set up a board for the Challenger. So for me, this was a very, very difficult turn. Playing the Knife Juggler and I have a 50% chance to kill it with the knives, and I really, really want a clear board. And I also want to get value out of the Knife Juggler. I want to proc the Haunted Creeper with the Knife Juggler so I get more value out of the Knife Juggler, and I want to clear the board if possible. But playing the Void Caller here is also very, very tempting. But if I just play the Void Caller, he gets a value attack on my Im Gang Boss, and then value out of his weapon, and it's very slow, so he will have that minion, and because he plays the coins out the lower tap, it's very likely he has another follow-up play like a Sludge Belcher. So if I don't kill the lower tap, he gets a value trade on my Im Gang Boss, and he probably plays a Sludge Belcher. I really, really expected him to have the Sludge Belcher next turn because his hand was very slow. He had no turn 2 play, he had no real turn 3 play, so I was almost convinced that his next play will be a Sludge Belcher. So I was very afraid of that. So if I just play the Void Caller, I don't trade into his Sludge Belcher, and he gets a value trade on my Im Gang Boss, and the value of my Hunter Creeper plus Knife Juggler also is shrinking by a lot. So this was very, very difficult for me to decide. I also don't want to slam down the Doomguard. That was also another possibility. If I discard the Mortal Coil, that's really good. If I discard Mortal Coil plus Void Caller, but I thought his hand is like very full of value. I really expected him to have at least 1 or 2 Doctors. And if I just play the Doomguard, discard my other Doomguard, I lose my hand. Tapping is very slow in this matchup. So, but like Doomguard is very tempting here as well. To play the Doomguard, kill the lower tap. And also, I expect the secret to be Avenge. because I tested Noble Sacrifice, so I don't want him to have 2 minions on board. So if I let this low tap live, I feel like he would really come back into this game. So this was probably one of the toughest decisions in this whole series. And then I did a small misplay because I went over all of those 3 scenarios over and over again, that I played the knife juggler and tapped afterwards. That was like probably my only misplay in like the whole regionals. That I tapped last. I could get like a 1-drop, but I don't think that any card would change my play here because of the low tap. I cannot draw a power overwhelming, for example. And if I life tap, I can also not play Argus. When I life tap, I have 3 mana. Yeah. Probably the only card that I could draw that would be good here is like before playing the Night Jack is Direwolf. I would probably play Direwolf here, but I'm not so sure, because Direwolf is also better with having all the 1/1 tokens on the board. Like Direwolf is really a really good late game zoo card. So using the Knife Juggler before the Direwolf would probably also be better. Obviously the positioning, I'm always like looking at the positioning, playing like the gang bosses on the edges, Death Rattle minions on the edges, the first Death Rattle minion on the left side, the second Death Rattle minion on the other side. So it was a 50%. I got it, so it's pretty good. I have 3 damage on board, I have to hit 3 pings, I have 3 pings, good stuff. So this is, and this was just the life tap, it's not like a really misplay, it's not like something would have changed my play. It's like, as I said, the only card that might change my play is Direwolf, and it's probably still better to go for the Knife Juggler. So I really expected a Sludge Belcher from him the next turn, and Void Caller is really slow. This is where a lot of people cut Void Caller from the Zoo decks, and if he plays a Sludge Belcher, I cannot proc, I cannot get my Doomguard out, and if I don't want to slam down a Doomguard next turn when I have the Void Caller out, because then the chance is very likely that I discard the other Doomguard because I played stuff there. So, but yeah, I have board control. If he would consecrate here, this is like another possibility because he had no hand, because a lot of Secret Paladins run 1 consecrate. I'm not in a too bad spot because for the next follow-up play I have an Eruping Egg plus Void Caller, and I can go from there if he has the Challenger. I don't want to go like too much over his plays and what he does. As you can see, it's like, for me it's already very stressful to go over everything I was thinking. No, I have 3 damage. I have 2 pings out of 3. Yeah, 2 pings out of 3, that's 50%. How is it less than 50%? What? 1 ping goes face, 1 ping hits the minion, and then you have if the 3rd ping hits the minion or goes face, it's 50%. It's 50% to kill it. 2 out of 3 is always 50%. It's like missiles. Missiles killing a minion is 50%. Yeah, it's slightly less. Total 360, yeah, 66%. Yeah, 66%. Anyways, here, okay, let me go over this quickly. So yeah, I killed that one. Good stuff. He was kind of roping. Oh, god damn it. So he played a Knife Juggler and a Secret, right? He played Knife Juggler, Secret, Hero Power. So obviously I expect this to be Noble Sacrifice now. I expected to be Avenge, the first Secret, and so it's the classic. I have 2 1/1s on the board, and he has the Noble Sacrifice Avenge combination. So what I can do here is go with my standard play. Okay, his next turn is Challenger, so we don't want to proc his Secrets. That's like a classic turn 5. You just play stuff and pass. So here I probably just played the Rubinek Void Caller, as I wanted to do previous turn anyways. if he has the challenger, it's very likely he has the challenger because of how he played. There was like a possibility that he has like Dr. Boom and Tyrion and not the challenger, but he must have some doctors. But obviously, the first thing you play around is the challenger. So I will play the Nerubian Egg. Nerubian Egg is very good against Knife Juggler. If he would play multiple stuff, he doesn't want to proc my egg. It's like a small protection against the Knife Juggler, and I want to get the Void Caller out ASAP as well, and I want to flood the board because I just drew the Gormok, but Gormok is with this hand not so great. So from this perspective, like now I was like a little scared that I will lose this matchup because he has a stronger board, he has the secrets out, and the challenger is most likely to come down, and my hand is very slow and I'm behind on board. As soon as you're behind on board, Zoo, you're likely to lose. But I was really keeping in mind like his life total, 17 life. If I could get a Doomguard out from the Void Caller, double Doomguard is 10 damage, so I kind of just have to squeeze in 7 life. If there would be a challenger coming out, there's a very high possibility that I will focus on just getting some damage in, because he didn't have the Sludge Belcher. He would have probably played the Sludge Belcher over this, and he played the Cockhammer. And usually when you run low tap, you run one Sludge Belcher and just one Cockhammer. So the only two taunts that are left in his deck are Tyrion and Sludge Belcher. So it's, I don't know how many cards we drew, but it's like 2 out of 18 or something. So going face is a pretty legit tactic, especially when I have 28 life. So that was my thinking process there. Like his hand was obviously this game like really bad, his draws, but having double Doomguard from the beginning is also not the greatest. So we don't proc those secrets. He plays the challenger as expected. He loses a lot of value because from my perspective he lost double sacrifice plus avenge. He gets only 1 ping as well, and the ping goes to the egg. That's like as good as it gets. He clears my board, so that was the right play from his side. So now I draw the Void Walker. So now I can decide to either Mortal Coil or live tap. I know that if I Mortal Coil, the Knife Juggler gets redeemed, but if I attack first, like there's really no big downside to the Knife Juggler getting redeemed than redeeming a 2-1, because if I attack with my Void Caller, yeah, I still attack into the 2-1 and he gets a pick from the Knife Juggler. So I don't want to attack, that's the thing. I want to see my hand first before I do any moves. I could get like an Abusive Surgeon, and then I want to proc my egg and not proc my Void Caller. And preferably I want to proc my Void Caller and get the Doomguard out. So the reason why I use Mortal Coil first is because it's cheaper, because I might play a Gormok if I get like a 1-drop, then I have a 6 mana play with the Void Walker plus 1-drop plus Gormok, and if I live tap I cannot do that. So yeah, and there's no big downside to playing the Mortal Coil first and redeeming the Knife Juggler compared to the 2-1. And I also want to buff the Challenger and not another minion, because we have the Void Walker. If he can clear the board and have the Challenger only up, if he doesn't have cards like True Silver, and a lot of people only run 1 True Silver or 0 True Silvers, he has to run the 9/8 into my Void Walker. So just having one little taunt can already like lock out his Challenger. And as I said, from this point on, my game goal is to smork him and not fight so much for the board anymore with the double Doomguard and the Void Caller. So I drew the Abusive Surgeon. That was a pretty sick draw, exactly what I wanted. And it paid off that I played so I attack with the guy, so I don't lose. Obviously I attack with the guy, so if the Knife Juggler procs my egg, I still have a 4th minion on the board, and then I can Abusive the Void Caller. And I didn't want to Abusive first, obviously, because the Knife Juggler could kill my Abusive, and the Knife Juggler could kill my egg if I buff the egg first. So obviously attack with the Void Caller first. And I don't attack with the Void Walker, because if I attack and it gets pinged, it would die. So I really needed to make sure that I will have 4 minions on the board for the Gormok. So the only possible play was to attack with the Void Walker. So my guy got pinged. If I would have attacked with the Void Walker, as you can see, it would have died, and then I wouldn't have had 4 minions. So this from here, what I was thinking, I also don't have much time left. I will abuse with the egg, kill the Knife Juggler, and now the only decision I have to make is Gormok on the minion or Gormok face. But I have lethal anyways. If my board sticks, I will kill him, because I have the 4/4 and another 4/4. And the abusive Consecration doesn't clear my board. The only thing that I'm now thinking is, okay, his only out is now a taunt, or he will die. With double Doomguard, I kill him. Because I don't need the Gormok face damage, it's probably better to put the damage on the minion, because if he has a taunt, I have to go for the value game again. So I don't need the damage from the Gormok face, so I put the damage on the minion. So I was thinking quite fast here, even though the rope was ticking. I played everything exactly how I wanted it. I have a very strong board with the, I have double Doomguard, it's 10 damage from hand plus board, as you can see, it's way above overkill. So now I'm thinking, okay, you need a Sludge Belcher, he cannot play Tyrion. Sludge Belcher is the only thing, or a second Cork Hammer tag. And it's very nice, the 9/4 is so much easier to kill now. He cannot just trade it into my minion, it would just die. So basically I play the value game and the small game at the same time. So I really like how I played that. So he goes for the Challenger. I know he has one Noble Sacrifice out because of how the secrets turned out. So pretty easy game. I trade on the Void Caller, get 10 damage from hand, have 20 damage. I just play the Knife Juggler for funsies. So I was pretty happy. From my perspective, this was not very close, because I had still 26 life. So I could have tanked 3 hits. So I had 3 or 4 more turns to kill him. It turned out really well. I was very happy with how I played that game. And that was probably the only misplay in the whole tournament where I life tapped last. But it's not it's not a huge deal, because people got caught up on that. Gara always taps last. No, that was the only time in the whole tournament. And as I said, it was not a big deal. So I'm just gonna, I don't know how long they will talk, probably not so long. I'm gonna reading the chat. On the official Play Hearthstone channel. So for me, obviously my next pick, since I won with the Warlock, my Warlock is gone. I have Hunter and Paladin left. I prefer, as I said, I want to dodge the Paladin mirror, because to be above 50% is very difficult. Even against much weaker players, to get above 55% is very difficult. And every player in this tournament was a good player, because getting into top 128, you have to be good. You cannot do that with luck. So I saw everyone as equally strong player. Nobody is weaker as me. So I always went for realistic percentages, not too crazy. overboard. So for me it was obvious to go Hunter next. So against Paladin, I think I should be... On ladder I'm like 75% against Secret Paladin, but on ladder all those stats are like nobody cares because most players on ladder are weak players. So, but in a tournament setting, I still think that I'm like slightly favored, 55%, because like I'm tagged for that matchup. It's not like I'm just playing a normal standard mid-range Paladin. I'm like tagged for this matchup with the double Hunter's Mark and explosive trap and whatnot, and the Knife Juggler Unleash. So this is a like Knife Juggler is good to have, but only with the Unleash, and it's very slow, and he might not have the Master for Battle. So mulligan away the Knife Juggler is fine. It's really not so good to have in your starting hand. I don't have too many 1-drops in this specific list. I'm gonna show my Hunter list actually. I don't know. I only have one 1-drop. I probably cut even... Did I cut my... Yeah, I also have the Dread Scale, and I cut the Web Spinner for the Dread Scale, and also to play a third trap. So yeah, the hand looked really weak with the Highmane. This is like, there's very few options I have, but I don't want to like give it away that my hand is complete garbage, you know. So I want to still pretend that I'm like thinking I have some plays here, not for turn 1, but also for the next turn. But obviously I have only one, probably just one turn, next turn, which is the Hunter Creeper. To be honest, I would probably play the Freezing Trap if he plays like a Knife Juggler or a Minibot. Because you lose Freezing Trap value dramatically. But if I play the Freezing Trap into a Knife Juggler or Minibot and there's a Master coming down and he procs a 1-1, then I will probably lose the game, because it's very... Then the only chance for me to win this game is the Knife Juggler Unleash, and I don't have a single part. So if he plays the Secret Keeper, for me there's absolutely no option to play the Freezing Trap to buff it to a 2-3. So I will play the Hunter Creeper. The thing is, if they go Secret Keeper first, they might not have the follow-up play. They just play... The chance is kind of 50-50 that you play the Minibot or the Knife Juggler afterwards, even though you play the Secret Keeper. So if I play the Hunter Creeper and then play Animal Companion, I get Leok, I kill it, I get Half-Right, kill it, so I have 2 out of 3, and Misha is good. So if I get Misha, I would trade my Hunter Creeper and put it to a 1-1, and yeah, ignore the Minibot or the Knife Juggler. So as you can see, he kind of has the nuts. He just drew the best 2 secrets from his deck with the double Secret Keeper opener, and he has the doctors to like, for the mid game. And I basically just have one play. Yeah, this is obviously the worst. Like, Freezing Trap is already a bad card in this matchup, but him having the Secret Keeper makes it so much worse to draw the trap. And as you guys will see, 2 Secret Keepers doesn't make it any better. Yeah, he's probably thinking which secret to play first, what my follow-up line might be a bow, might be a kill command. Like, would I kill command here and then he buffs the other? But since I have the Knife Juggler out, there might be, the Hunter Creeper out, there might be Knife Juggler and so forth. I don't really want to talk too much about his thinking process. So I have now the option to quick shot. He played a secret. It can easily be avenged now because he played 2 Secret Keepers. So I'm in a terrible position. My Freezing Trap is no option anymore. Highmane obviously not an option. Houndmaster is something I have to consider for next turn. So my only replay is probably Animal Companion. And Animal Companion before I see the trap, because this might be Noble Sacrifice, and then I could get Leok, and if I get Leok I have like more options because I have 2 attack. Since I have the Halfa now, it's difficult. This secret can be everything, because if you play Secret Keeper you would play any secret. You would play Competitive Spirit, you would play Redemption, you would play Avenge, you would play everything. And yeah, I cannot deal, as you can see with my hand, I cannot deal with any secret. So I was actually considering here to not attack at all. Like the thing what I was thinking here the most is not attack at all, because if I don't attack, my follow-up play is Houndmaster. I want to Houndmaster, but I really want to know what secret this is. Like I want to know if this is a noble sacrifice. And I feel like if I don't attack here this turn with my Hunter Creeper, and he has a Master for Battle. I was thinking, what is his next play? Because his opener was like so sick. He might have like the Master for Battle. If he has Master for Battle, he attacks with the Secret Keeper into the Hunter Creeper, and then with the other Secret Keeper, and then kills the remaining spider with his Master for Battle weapon. And then I have to run my Huffer into his Noble Sacrifice, so that's terrible. And even if I have the Houndmaster on the Huffer, it's terrible. So I'm kind of forced to attack with the Hunter Creeper. But if I attack with the Hunter Creeper, and this is Noble Sacrifice, the chance, like, also the thing is, if he has Master for Battle or if he doesn't have Master for Battle. So if he doesn't have Master for Battle, not attacking is the right play, because then he will probably not attack with the with the Secret Keeper into my Hunter Creeper. He will probably kill with his Secret Keeper my Huffer and go face with the other one. And then I have the Houndmaster, which is like, then even in this bad spot, I'm in like in a decent position. But if he has, if he has Master, then it's really bad. So I was really struggling about, man, do I go do I play around Master for Battle or do I not? Usually you should play around turn 3 Master for Battle. So that's why I decided to attack with the Hunter Creeper. This would leave me most likely with, if I attack and it's Noble Sacrifice, I will not have a Houndmaster for next turn. And I was really struggling with that decision. I was like already in such a bad spot, but I'm pretty sure that attacking was still right in that spot, which I then ended up doing. This is like a really, really hard decision. Like the Huffer was really not something I wanted to see there. So it is the Noble Sacrifice. So now the thing is, I was more expecting, like I play around Master for Battle, but I don't play around Cockhammer when he has a board like this that often, and 4 damage phase is pretty valuable. I think I should have ended up trading my Huffer into 1 Secret Keeper. But I really expected him to trade 1 Secret Keeper into my Huffer, and then I would lose 4 damage. And 4 damage as Hunter is like very valuable. It's like one of those classes where you tend to be greedy with damage, because it's very, very valuable for like your overall game goal. Every point of damage you get to the face is really good. So it's very likely that it's more likely. I'm already in a very bad spot here. And even if I would play 1 Secret plus Hero Power, he will end up trading 1 Secret Keeper into my Huffer most likely. And if he would play Hero Power plus a Secret and doesn't trade into my Huffer, I get like another 4 damage, or I trade into a Secret Keeper. But then overall I still gain the 4 damage. But I get super punished by a Cockhammer if I don't trade. So that might be a too greedy. That might be a little bit too greedy to go for the 4 damage here. But also my follow-up play. Also like another thing, if like he must trade into my Huffer. If he doesn't trade, I have the Houndmaster. But there was no way he would let my Huffer live. And then, as you guys see, he just drew the Cockhammer, so the super punish. So from this point on, I need the Knife Juggler Unleash to stay in the game, and him not having more secrets. But as you can see, he has already more secrets. So that's the Unleash. That's not too bad. So now this is another thing. He has still the coin. Previous game he coined out the lower tab, so he should have at least 5 drops. So I will not get Houndmaster in my hand is pretty much a dead card at this point. The current board doesn't trade into my Houndmaster. Like he has 2/2/3 minions, like a 1/2/2 and a 1/2/3 minion and a 2/2 weapon. So right now at this point he has to trade 2, like a minion and a weapon into my Houndmaster to contest it. Like I have to play like risky. At this point I have to play risky to come back into the game. If he doesn't have a secret, I'm in a good spot, because then I have also the Hounds for clear up. If he ignores my Houndmaster, like if he would need to trade a Secret Keeper plus weapon, he would ignore my Houndmaster and go face, and then I can kill one guy, and then my guy survives, and I go from there. And it's also good for the game plan, because I attacked already with the Huffer, and if he takes another 4 damage, it's like already 8 damage he took. I could just quick shot and hero power, but I'm already behind on board. Like, this is very mana efficient, first of all, and quick shot is good later on. It's very mana efficient because I let one Secret Keeper live, and I have no board. And with the Huntmaster, I would have like contest the board, and like, because there could be a Shredder coming down next turn, very likely. And playing the Huntmaster is much better if he would have a Shredder. Huntmaster is only much weaker if he has another secret, but it's like not a very strong and efficient turn to just play another secret. But as it turns out, and also if he plays one secret, he would trade the weaker Secret Keeper into my Houndmaster, and basically then I traded my Houndmaster over my quick shot, and I was just more mana efficient, and my hand is very slow, and it will be very hard to get my Houndmaster out anyway. So this is, I see this like as an opportunity to get my Houndmaster out of my hand. It's like when you play Druid and you just have like a lot of expensive cards, you just try to get your expensive stuff out of your hand. So this is the reason why I decided to play the Huntmaster here over the quick shot. There was like a small possibility of using quick shot plus freezing trap. I was actually considering that as well, because I have the hounds, but I'm pretty sure I went for the Huntmaster here because it's so mana efficient, and like 2 mana cards, you can play them whenever. So he drew like another perfect card for this situation. Like, he would have probably played Avenge here plus Hero Power, but since he drew the mini bot, it's a pretty easy play. You play the Avenge plus mini bot, and then trade the. And this is like another bad situation because this secret could be everything. So I drew another dead card, so I cannot even unleash kill command. Yeah, this is bad. But if I would have used quickshot last turn, I would have been in an even worse position. So I have to play Houndmaster in an even worse board than previous turn. Like, I have to play the Houndmaster in a board where he already contests my Houndmaster in 2 different ways. He can kill my Houndmaster with the mini bot, just trade the Divine Shield plus the weapon, or he just trades the Secret Keeper. So, and it would be mana efficient. Playing a Houndmaster on turn 5 would be even more mana efficient. So I decided to play the Freezing Trap here. It is actually my only play. I can damage it with the kill command, which is terrible. I can go Unleash here, which is terrible. I can quickshot and to damage it, basically do the same as the kill command. I would probably play kill command over quickshot if I would do that. So the only play would be just hero power pass, but that I would never ever get value out of my freezing trap. The chances, if I don't play freezing trap here, that I bounce back a 1-1 is close to 100%. So if I play the freezing trap here, he bounces back the mini bot. That's like still plus 2 mana on the mini bot, and if he wants to replay the mini bot, that's 4 mana. So that's not too terrible. Even though I give plus 1/1 to the Secret Keeper, it's still fine to play the freezing trap here to bounce back the mini bot. Thanks, Naria. Thanks for the host, bro. So this is completely fine for me. Like, in my position with my hand, that bounce back on the mini bot was the best play. So here's the Challenger, Fields Batman. At that point, I already know that I will play the Highmane next turn, so I'm not really thinking about that, but I'm considering like what I do afterwards. Look, at this point, I really need a Hunter's Mark with the Unleash, because I play the Highmane, or the Mufasa, how I like to call it, then I play the Unleash the following turn, proc the Noble Sacrifice, hope I get the Avenge on the Challenger, attack with the Highmane into his Secret Keeper, which is the Boulder Fist Ogre at that point, and then Hunter's Mark the Challenger. So there's still, even at this point, even if I take, how much is it? 12, 14 damage next turn, I can still win this game. If I draw Hunter's Mark. And if he doesn't have like another big minion. Like, a very likely play for him next turn would also be the Mini Bot plus hero power. But as you can see, he has the Doctor 6, and after that he has already the Doctor 7. So with seeing both hands, I would concede, obviously, because there's no out. Why not quick shot before I start? I explained it. Watch the bots. So he drew like he had a second challenger, so I drew another dead card. So for me, there's nothing to do here. I wanted to see if I unleash and if it procs on the challenger and I kill with the Highmane on the 5/6. I mean, this is we play here for top 8 spot, right? This is whoever wins this is playing in the top 16, and then you need only one more win for top 8. So might as well try not concede, right? It's 400k. Might as well see if there's like a possibility. But I knew I lost this game at that point with double quick shot. Like I was thinking if I double quick shot the challenger, like if the biggest challenger gets buffed, double quick shot the small challenger and trade with the Highmane, but there's no way. I'm dead. I was just thinking if there was like a possibility, but there was no possibility, so I just considered this game. I explained it, Bunny Muffin. You should just watch the boards. Explained I'm pretty sure I explained everything very detailed. So I lost with Hunter. Feels Batman. So for my same reasoning, it's just logical that I go Hunter again. But there might be that so his Paladin is gone now. This changes everything. Since his Paladin gets a win, I can easily bring my Paladin now. Yeah, because that's the only matchup I'm kind of dodging, and Paladin might be stronger than Hunter overall, but I expect a Reno Lock, and Reno Lock is really good against Paladin, and my Hunter should be better against Reno Lock, so it's pretty close. But overall, also Hunter is not good against Reno Lock. Like both decks are really, I really wanted to win that matchup, but I still have his Druid. At this point, I'm kind of thinking I probably have to kill his Druid twice with my 2 decks, and I will probably lose to his Reno Lock. So this might be like a 2-2 game, and then I lose. Then I have to win against his Druid one more time. No, should I skip this? Whenever I'm skipping this, then I'm like, so okay. So I decided to stick with the Hunter just because it should be better against Reno Lock, and I practiced this matchup also quite a bit. Like the way how they beat me is with Molten Giant plus Reno Lock, but it's 2 one-offs and you kind of pray, but you just focus on bot control as much as possible. So with this starting hand, I kept everything because my game plan is to coin out the Mad Scientist. First of all, I don't know yet for sure that he plays Reno. This can easily be Zoo. It's very likely because of the matchups, but I don't have any information about his decks. All I know it's a Warlock. And to be on the safe side, I just go for the curve. I coin out Mad Scientist into Freezing Trap. It's pretty good, especially if he has no 1-drop. It's really, really good. And if he has a 1-drop, I play free trap so I can get an explosive trap out, which is good as well. And I rather, yeah, because I want to coin out the Mad Scientist for sure. If it's Zoo, then I want to have a turn 2 play, not hero power. And even though Freezing Trap is like not the most optimal turn 2 like follow-up play, it is a follow-up play, better than nothing. And if that's the case, like if he's Reno Lock, it's much easier to control the board and control the Freezing Trap. So cards like in Gang Boss are very hard to kill, and you can like navigate it. Cards like in Gang Boss will get bounced back. So Freezing Trap against control decks is good anyways. Like against Druid, I would probably do the same. If this would be Druid, I would probably keep the same hand. But Aspirant is different because you don't want to bounce back in Aspirant, so I might toss the Freezing Trap back against Druid. I would keep a Quick Shot, for example. like against Zoo, almost any card that is not an imp is good to bounce back. I mean the implosion imps. Like bouncing back counter creepers or flame imps, knife chopper, everything is good. So I go here with my curve, coin mad scientist. I have 3 traps. That's also like another reason, because I play 3 traps, it's completely fine to keep 1. It's not like I play 2 traps and then if I draw the second trap that the mad scientist is that card. So as I said, I don't have the information what warlock it is. I see live tap, so now I think immediately about Reno Lock. But my guess was already Reno Lock. But it could have been a Zoo, because Zoo also targets aggro decks. That's the thing. Zoo targets aggro decks, but it was slightly more likely that it's Reno Lock. So another live tap, so expect like a Drake next turn, something like that. But like in this situation, tap into tap, and if a Drake comes down, that's really good for me, because like there you can see how good the freezing trap is. So I don't have to sacrifice my mad scientist, but now I'm very disappointed because I drew the explosive trap. Now if he kills my mad scientist, I don't get the freezing trap out. So if I would draw a freezing trap, that wouldn't be as bad as drawing the explosive trap. So the explosive trap was the worst draw in my deck. Here, it's better. So, Huffer, I'm not so happy about Huffer. I rather have Leo Misha, because in this matchup you don't want to put him low, because as I said, I cannot beat Moltens without having, like, my hand is, my game plan of this hand is play a Highmane on 6, Highmane on 7, and I don't want to put him low, but the way how I kept my hand and with the Mad Scientist and the double Animal Companion is that I will go for that line of play. I cannot play a Houndmaster here, it's like really bad. I can get more value later on. And I have a minion on board. If you have a minion on board, it makes an Animal Companion obviously much better because of the Leo outcome, and I get more. And I have, at this point, I also have no turn 5 play. So playing the Houndmaster and then Animal Companion is much weaker than the Animal Companion into a Houndmaster, because I can buff. If that's like a Misha, I can make it a 6/6, kill his Sludge Belcher, we expect a Sludge Belcher on turn 5 or Lord Tap. If I get a Misha and buff that, I'm in an excellent spot, and I still have the freezing trap. So I'm very annoyed, by the way, that he's already so low on life, because I would get pretty owned by Molten. In this game, I don't know that he doesn't run Moltens. Like, I don't know. I think he doesn't run... Like, even after watching the games, he could still have Molten in his deck. I don't know. Maybe you can write in the chat because you're watching if you have Molten Giants. But you still play around the one Molten Giant sometimes if you can. So I'm really annoyed. I hope I don't get another Huffer, because if I get Huffer, I'm forced to go face. So I got another Huffer, and it's not good. Like, he's obviously disgusted by the Huffers, because he doesn't know my hand. Like, I have no kill command, I have no quick shot. Like, Huffer is really bad. I cannot close out the game. Like, I can push like 6 damage here to 10, which is the worst life total. He can Molten Giant plus Healbot. If he plays Molten Giant plus Healbot, I probably lost the game, because then I have to clear the board, because he can bounce back. If he bounce backs Molten Giant, I have a freezing trap out. If he bounce backs Molten Giant, I don't know why my Skype was freaking... If he bounce backs the Molten Giants, he can replay it for 0 mana. If he bounce backs the Healbot, that's obviously really bad for me as well. And I have no kill commands in my hand, no quick shots, no unleash, no damage. So this is really bad. So for me, obviously, I'm forced to push some damage because I have the Huffer, and the thing I'm playing around here is Molten Giant plus Healbot, because people don't really understand why I did attack with the Huffer and not with the Mad Scientist. If I attack with the Mind Scientist, I get really owned by Molten Healbot combo. And if he has Molten Giant plus Sun-Fury Protector, most lists don't run Sun-Fury Protector, so I'm not too afraid of that. And it's also like just one-offs. But Molten Giant plus Reno owns me, and Molten Giant plus Healbot. So I'm attacking with the Huffer because I got a Huffer, so I'm pushing damage in. I have the hero power, I can like push but I really want to play around the one combo that loses me the game. And if he just plays Molten Giants, I still have the freezing trap out. So I can control the bounce back on the Molten at least. And then it gives me time to get a better board and draw the Hunter's Mark. So for me this is not good because, as I said, my game plan is to play the 2 Highmanes and then control the board and win from there. So I'm happy to see a lower tap because I have the freezing trap out. I drew the Sludge Belcher, it's more mana efficient. So now I'm thinking here, if I play the Houndmaster, because if he next turn, because I will not kill the lower tap here because I have a freezing trap and I have the Mad Scientist out and then I have the explosive trap in my hand. I want to get value out of my freezing trap and then get value out of my Mad Scientist, because right now my Mad Scientist is just a 2/2. So I want to bounce back this lower tap, so I get more value out of my Mad Scientist and get my second freezing trap out, and also that I don't draw my Mad Scientist. So my Sludge Belcher is very mana efficient here, but if I don't kill the lower tap, I want to push damage. At this point, because he has 6 mana, I'm not gonna play around Molten Giant because he has already the board, and now I can also draw like a kill command. It's not that good because I don't have a kill command. My game plan is still the same, and I'm just basically praying he doesn't have a Molten Giant plus Reno Jackson. He would be forced to use Reno Jackson if he has it, if I push with the Houndmaster, and I get immediate Houndmaster value. This is like another thing that speaks for the Houndmaster over the Sludge Belcher. I push 2 more damage, then with the Sludge Belcher I buff my beast and I get value out of the Houndmaster, and the Sludge Belcher should be good later on as well. So this is the reason, and I put him to 4 life. This is why we didn't attack last turn with the Mad Scientist, because the caster always say some stupid stuff. They don't really understand what's going on in the game. This is why we didn't attack, because of the heal bot mainly. We didn't attack last turn because he couldn't have played this, the Molten. Even if he had the Molten, it would be a really mediocre play to play it for 2 mana, because that would be everything, and you basically want to play the Molten for free and you want to combo it. So, but at this point I'm forced to push damage. Like, I don't want to push damage, but I'm forced to push damage because of the freezing trap and because of my board state. So putting him to 4, he might not have Reno. Now at this point he might not have Reno. He might not have he might not have Molten Healbot, and even Molten Healbot is not so good. And if he plays Reno, he cannot clear my board. So I still have a full board in deal with that. So I'm very happy he didn't have a Molten. He probably doesn't run Molten, but I don't know, right? It's like Reno deck. Some people don't, some people do. If I knew he doesn't run Molten, I would obviously attack with the Mad Scientist. But we cannot know that during the tournament. People just might change their list and whatever. This is why Warlock in general or Reno decks are like so strong. So at this point, I cannot just go face. I drew a kill command and I have 12 damage on the board. I can do 17 damage, but it's not that good because he, if I don't kill Reno, he bounce back Reno with the freezing trap, so it's a no-brainer to kill the Reno. He would just heal himself full. So I do this trade. It's an efficient trade. Sorry, I traded the Huffer with the Reno Jackson, so that's good. It's pretty obvious, and then I play the Highmane on 6 with on the play is also pretty good, and I still have the freezing trap for his lower tap, and he cannot surprise me with like a Molten draw. So I will attack this, play the Highmane, and I have a sick board state. So we go for the original board state. So we survive the Reno, which is a very good spot. There's no Molten. The way how he wins isn't the Reno Molten combo. Just the Reno is completely fine because we have a very hard board to remove. And we still have the freezing trap. As you can see, keeping the freezing trap, it turns out he cannot attack with the lower tap, but the Dr. Boom is like very annoying. Okay, this is now very difficult because we also now draw the Hunter's Mark, and a card that I'm like, okay, I absolutely want to play the Highmane here no matter what, because it's such a very strong play. So, Mad Scientist, as I mentioned earlier, is still a 2/2 vanilla minion at this point. So, for me, I want to play around MC Tag. I'm thinking about the cards that I'm losing to. When I play against Reno, I'm always thinking about the cards that will win my opponent the game. And one card that will win him the game, if I just go face here, with all and play the Highmane, I would lose to MC Tag. And because he had like pretty weak turns earlier, I kind of put him on an MC Tag. As you guys can see, he even had an MC Tag. If I play Highmane here, he has a 50% chance to get a Highmane without to lose me the game. I think that I'm in a pretty good spot, even though he played the Dr. Boom just yet. So if I play Highmane, it goes very good with the Hunter's Mark, so I have to sacrifice a minion. So now the only real decision here is with the Hunter's Mark on the Dr. Boom, which minion I sacrifice. Do I sacrifice the Mad Scientist or do I sacrifice the Houndmaster? Obviously Mad Scientist is the weaker minion, but if I sacrifice the Houndmaster, I get a second freezing trap out of my deck. At this point I don't want to draw my freezing traps, I really want to cycle them out. So I get more quality draws, top decks. So it is painful to lose the Houndmaster, but on the bright side, if I push for damage here, I have 2 Highmanes on the board. That's like my ultimate winning condition. I play mid-range Hunter, he got the heal, like he recovered it. Now he shouldn't have like too many big threats because most people play combo Reno Lock. So if my board sticks, I should win the game. So I decided to play around MC Tech and trade my Houndmaster here and not kill the boom bots, because I don't want those boom bots to have a 1 in 4 to kill my Mad Scientist. The chance to kill my Mad Scientist is pretty good here, and then the noble sacrifice from my Houndmaster would be wasted if the boom bot kills my Mad Scientist and I don't get the freezing trap. So I overvalue my Mad Scientist over the Houndmaster. I have the quick command in my hand because I think I don't need the damage. And also another thing, I don't want to put him too low because he can still draw in the past couple turns of the next turns. He can draw the Molten Giant, so pushing too much damage here is not even that necessary. All I need is my board to stick. So like if I would trade my Mad Scientist in, I would push in 10 damage and I would put him to 14, and 14 is not a good life total to put him on. So that's another thing. If I would trade my Mad Scientist, I would probably not even attack with my Houndmaster face. So my Houndmaster is completely useless, so the Houndmaster is actually a pretty good sacrifice at this point. As you can see, this was like a really fought play. And the thing about playing against boombots, okay, you can only go like with the statistically, like you can only go with probability because you don't know what those boombots can do. Technically, those 2 boombots could kill my 2 Highmanes. I cannot predict what's gonna happen with this boombot, so I'm just trying to make the best out of it. I'm losing like my first freezing trap, but that's not too bad because 1 boombot can do like a tremendous damage on my board. But I'm also getting automatically a second freezing trap out, which is good. So I was obviously, like, the thing is, because I was shortly considering to trade my Mad Scientist, it's still very unlikely. It's just 1 in 4 that it kills my Mad Scientist. But because I sacrificed my Houndmaster, I didn't want to risk it, so I go face. Because the main reason is the second freezing trap. If I kill it and it doesn't kill my guy, it's always like if you don't, like if I feel like I'm ahead in this game, so I don't have to take the risk. If I'm behind in the game, I feel like I have to take some risks to win the game. Because if I trade it and it doesn't kill my guy, the first boombot gets bounced back by the freezing trap, and if the Mad Scientist dies, the second freezing trap is still targeting his lower tap. And at this point, if he bounces back a boombot and then attacks with a boombot, mortal coils, or if he then dark bombs or whatever, and then he can technically, with some plays, he could target my second freezing trap on his second boombot. So it would be nice to remove 1 boombot from this board, but the boombots are evil, and I like to put him to 16 as well. 2 damage faces like worth 1 mana, so that's good. Doing face damage is always good, except I have Moltens, then it's bad. So I feel like I'm in a good spot, even though he has 2 boombots. I'm just praying boombots don't be crazy. And from here, this is the funniest situation in this whole match, because now he thinks he's doing a misplay. He has 10 cards in his hand, but as it turns out, this boombot distraction was his best play in this whole series. He hits, like, he discards the boombot hits my guy for 2, and now he can clear my board with the abusive plus Hellfire. Feels bad, man. Never lucky. Like this boombot, I didn't expect that actually. That he attacks with boombot, it destroys and attacks my Highmane, and then he can clear the board. I like that. Obviously, you think about, like, as you think, say you have only 70 seconds per turn, and I thought about all those things. I played around MC Tech and stuff like that, and put myself like in a good position to win this game. I didn't think about this possibility that he bounces back the boombot. and then that he can kill my bot with abusive hellfire because the boom bot gets exploded. This is really something I didn't expect. But he didn't think about that, because from his expression you can tell that he thinks it was just a misplay. And then he was like, oh, that's pretty good RNG for me. Better lucky than good. This is like what Larkwitch keeps saying. So I'm now in a terrible position because that was a pretty fortunate outcome. So, but I have the freezing trap out, so I cannot draw that. As you can see, I drew a lot of mid-range creatures. The only last late game creature I have left in my deck is my Dr. Boom. And besides that, I have a lot of damage. I have my bow still left in my deck, 2 bows left in my deck. I have my explosive trap in my hand. I have 2 kill commands, 2 quick shots, 2 unleash the hounds. So for me, the chances to draw pure damage is very likely at this point. And Reno is already gone. The only card that I'm fearing a lot, the only 2 cards that I'm fearing at this point are Argus plus Molten and Healbot. And I'm actually kind of fearing Jaraxxus. So this will make my following turn. But as I said, like the chance that I draw Burst here is very, very high. It's above 60% every turn that I draw something that deals damage to the face. So my game plan transitioned from controlling the board and winning refinements to SM Org. My hand is pretty good for SM Orc. And the freezing trap on the zombie chow is fine as well. He will like never replay a 3 mana zombie chow probably. So there's not much healing left in his deck. A lot of his cards are situational. I don't know his hand, like could be anything with Reno. You can just put him like on some cards. I just don't want to see big minions. That's like what I'm praying. So just gonna replay the zombie chow here. And what I'm hoping is to get my bow. Bow is like the number 1 card I want to draw here. It's 6 damage and over 2 turn. Quick shot is something you want to draw after the bow. So quick shot is fine, obviously, because it's phase damage. But this makes my turn here really awkward. I don't want to use Unleash for just 1 minion. But the thing is, if he gets taunt, my Unleash loses value. Even though if I would just deal 1 damage here to the face with the Unleash, if he gets an Argus next turn, I would lose 1 damage. So I'm very considering here to use the Unleash. But I'm like calculating how much damage I would deal. So Unleash plus kill command plus hero power would be the play then. That would be 6 plus 8 plus, that would be 9 damage. I put him to 3, which would be fine. But if he doesn't have the Argus, he would have probably Argused here if he had it. That was my thinking process. Like you would not siphon soul, I think, the Slider Bilge at that point if you had a better play. I think to double taunt should have been slightly better. Because yeah, he should still be expecting like a Dr. Boom, but he might have like a BGH. Anyways, the Unleash really obviously for 3 mana, 1 damage to the face is not very efficient, so I decided to be greedy because I haven't seen a heal bot yet. I really have to like overkill the heal bot heal, so basically have to deal 20 damage to win the game. That's why I decided to stick with the hounds here. So I'm gonna play the trap here because he doesn't know at this point what trap this is, right? Like because he played against my Secret Paladin, all he saw was the freezing trap. So this could be very likely be a snake trap. So he might not even attack into my guy. So that protects. So the trap is here no brainer. It's very likely it's actually a snake trap over because it's so 2 freezing, it's like it's snake trap and not explosive trap. So obviously a hero power. And now the decision is if I use my quick shot, because the main reason to not use quick shot would be Jaraxxus or Alexstrasza. If this is combo Reno Lock, it's more likely Alexstrasza. So I would basically lose 3 damage. But then another big heal is gone. And the thing is that I can draw bow. If I draw bow and I keep this hand, I cannot dump my hand, right? And that's a very tough decision because this is very expensive. Like the quick shot I obviously want to draw, but Unleash plus kill command is 6 mana, plus hero power is 8 mana. So because I will draw a card next turn, I will not draw a card with kick shot next turn, no matter what, except like kill command face, but that would be stupid. So like in the next 2 turns I would not draw a card with the quick shot. That's why I decided to use the mana here and force him to use Alexstrasza if he has it, because at that point you must use it, because she could be greedy, and if I just hero power to wait 1 more turn for the Alexstrasza, so I just decided to just play a healbot. So but here in this particular situation you would play Alexstrasza over healbot if you would have both. So this would also give me the information. If he would play a healbot here and not play Alexstrasza, then I have the information he doesn't have Alexstrasza in his hand. And at some point I can only like calculate. I just know I have the information from his current hand, and I can only go play around that current hand. I cannot play around an Alexstrasza top deck or a Jaraxxus top deck. So I would dump my hand basically. If I know he doesn't play Alexstrasza here, I would play the Unleash and go for the kill command and just try to draw more damage. So if he plays Healbot, he doesn't have Alexstrasza. If he doesn't play both, I know he has no heal, no taunt in his hand. As you guys can see, he has like a pretty bad hand. Probably, like, can you leave him life tap? He has 9 cards in his hand. If you are life taps, he cannot Alex. Feel the Batman. Now he's just gonna play minions and hope he like I don't have a beast on board, so he's not there to normal kill command plus hero power, so that plays fine. And he kind of wants to kill me next turn. Makes sense. But he would be dead to like my explosive if I have any damage. So that is like lethal. I was obviously worried. As you can see also, I drew like a big minion. If this would be like a Dr. Boom, to draw with my hand with my quick shot is very unlikely, even if I draw a big minion. So even if I draw a bow or something like that over the next 2 turns, so it's basically 3 damage for 2 mana, so I decided to be mana efficient the previous turn. Because sometimes I draw the second quick shot, and if I didn't have if I wouldn't have used the quick shot there, I would be missing the mana for the next turn if he would have played a healbot. So if he would have played a healbot, wait, he would have went. Because I played so much Hunter that I don't even have to do the maths anymore. So I decided I put him to. I did 5 damage here, right? So I put him to 7 or 6 even. So I put him to 6. I put him to 6. If I would have played Healbot, he would have been to 14. And if I would have drawn a quick shot, I would have had 7, 9, 12 damage. Yeah, I put him exactly. My explosive would kill him, and I put him to 2 life, so he cannot life tap. So if he would play a Healbot and I would draw my second quick shot, it was definitely correct to use my quick shot like the previous turn. So yeah, so that's that. So you want to deny as many draws as possible when your win condition is just pure face damage. So the final game, there's like no decision making for me. I'm in a good spot, obviously. I'm 2-1 ahead. I won the matchups I want to win. He has one really good deck left, which is the Reno Lock, and I have 2 tries with my Secret Paladin. It's like one of the #1 decks you want to have like 2 tries with. His Paladin, so like I navigated this to this point very good because like I avoided like bad matchups as good as possible. Like I dodged the Paladin mirror matchup. I have my Paladin against a Druid, exactly what I want, and I have a try of my Paladin against his Reno. Goodbye, monster. Oh yeah, this is a very interesting mulligan decision because oh my god, the castle went. Oh my god, Gara has such a crazy 1, 2, 3, 4. Obviously, he goes first. Obviously I just played against his deck. I know it's Reno Lock. Now it's not anymore. I don't have the information if it's Zoo or if it's Reno Lock. So he goes first. So obviously the card that I expect is Zombie Chow. That's the only thing I can play around. I have coin. If I would go first, I would keep this entire hand. But since I go second and my he could have a Zombie Chow. I don't have a Secret in my hand. So Secret Keeper is really bad against Warlock in general. Like Oskaka also. Like I talked with Oskaka about it. Like you mulligan Secret Keeper almost always against Warlock, just because it's pretty weak. You never keep secrets. You want to have your doctors and your mid-rangey cards. And drawing secrets is really bad. And with this hand, because I will keep Minibot, Master, and Shredder for sure, I have a very low chance, because I run only 5 secrets, that I will draw my secret. And even if I draw my secret, if he goes turn 1 Zombie Chow, Secret Keeper into Secret is really bad. So my best possible secret I could draw would be probably Noble Sacrifice. Avenge would be the second best one, but if I play Secret Keeper into coin Avenge and he had the Zombie Chow, he can then attack with the Zombie Chow and Mortal Coil my guy. So it's really bad, and I'm losing 2 cards for not even one. No, Noble Sacrifice is good, but if it would be Avenge, yeah, he can kill my guy and Mortal Coil it and kill it for free, and he has still the Zombie Chow, and then I play the Mini Bot, and I have to contest the Zombie Chow with the Mini Bot. He gets the Divine Shield, it's just bad. I'm basically losing a lot of cards, and I could have had like other cards instead, cards like Challenger or other mid-range cards like more Shredders or Kings or whatever, weapons, other weapons, core cameras, whatever. So because I drew this hand, for me this was very obvious that I will mulligan the Secret Keeper away, because he could open with the Zombie Chow. Because people were confused why I mulligan away the Secret Keeper. For me it was pretty obvious to mulligan away the Secret Keeper at that point. So here's the Zombie Chow, so I'm very happy that to see that. Like, I'm sad to see that, obviously, when you go first against a Reno deck and here's the Terminal Zombie Chow against like a very early game focused board control deck. That's obviously the best possible card to have, and a Reno deck just has one of them, so it's very bad to see that, but I played as good as possible against that. So I have to show my other deck list. You guys should always yell. So I'm gonna show my Secret Paladin list here. Maybe I should talk a little bit about the Secret Paladin list. Yeah, I'm playing a lot of Secret Paladin. Like, I got top 20 legend on all regions with Secret Paladin. I finished like top 30 legend with Secret Paladin. So I have a lot of experience with Secret Paladin. And I know like the different tech choices. The biggest weak point of Secret Paladin is definitely the second Secret Keeper, because the more consistent lists only play 6 secrets, sorry, not 5 secrets, 6 secrets. It's like the double Avenge, double Noble Sacrifice, and no Competitive Spirit plus Redemption. This seems to be the most consistent one. As soon as you add Repentance, you get more inconsistency. And it's very easy in the meta to play around Repentance. There's like a lot of mirrors, a lot of zoo decks like that. It's very easy to play around Repentance. It's like the easiest secret to play around. The only good matchup where Repentance would be good is against Druid. Against that it's good, but against all other matchups it's really bad. And even against Druid sometimes they can play around it. They just play a BGH. Like, usually you get the Repentance from the Challenger because you always mulligan it away. And the way how to kill Challenger is Hero Para and then BGH, and then Repentance will program BGH, and then you just decrease the HP of BGH by 1. And this is not... so basically it's not a good secret. So this is the reason why we don't play Repentance, and all other good players do not play Repentance. So one Secret Keeper, pretty obvious. The diminishing of the second Secret Keeper is really huge. Secret Keeper is mainly good in the mirror matchup because it doesn't allow your opponent to play secrets. I decided to play Abusive Sergeant over the second Secret Keeper. It's a very good card, also like in this specific situation, as you can see, because I will have early board. I can trade my board with his stuff. There's a lot of like, it's just basically a tech card for the matchups. For example, Imp Gang Boss or Neruba Weblords are very difficult to kill for Secret Paladin, but it allows me to trade my mini bot plus the Abusive Sergeant to trade into 4 toughness creatures like the Imp Gang Boss or the Neruba Weblord from the egg. So obviously I can combine it with the Shredder to kill a Druid of the Claw. It's a pretty good card, and I can also dump it on turn 1 in a lot of matchups when I go first as a 1-drop. It is probably even better than a Secret Keeper without secrets, because a 2-1 is better than a 1-2. So this is the reason why the Abusive Surgeon. You definitely want to play 2 1-drops for consistency. So here it's obviously I have no play. Playing Abusive Surgeon, the Zombie Charger just kills it. So I'm basically forced, even though it kind of ruins my curve, to play the mini bot here. Another possibility would be to just pass, but I don't like pass. So the mini bot actually contested this Zombie Chow. And there's a possibility he would go face. There's no way in hell he would expect an Abusive Surgeon, because this is one of those tech cards you don't expect. Because yeah, I was probably the only one that played Abusive Surgeon in Secret Paladin. Maybe 1 or 2 players did it as well. But this is not something you would expect from me on turn 2 Abusive as a Secret Paladin. So decided to just coin out the mini bot here. There's a very high chance I run like 6 2-drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 2-drops. So that I also draw a 2-drop is very likely. So And just hero, worst case scenario, hero power, and it's also not too bad because it also contested the zombie chow. So he decided to go face here. This is for me pretty obvious that I don't use the abusive surgeon here because his turn 3 is coming up. He life tap, so whenever someone life taps, the chance that he has like a follow up parry just increases statistically, and Imp Gang Boss really screws me over here. And I have no answer, and as I explained, I play Abusive Surgeon for Imp Gang Boss, for Naruba Web Lords that I can kill those cards. So Zombie Chow is not a big threat, this card will heal me eventually, so killing the Zombie Chow is really not that important. So I decided to keep, and I'm not too forced to use my Master. If I use Master on curve, it's bad anyways against Demon Breath, it's bad against Hellfire. So the playing Hero Power plus Abusive on 3 against Gang Boss would be good, and if I would not keep my Abusive, and if I use my abusive here, I'm mana inefficient. I have almost like same board as if I would hero power. I kill the zombie chow, which is not a high priority kill target, and I have no way to kill a gang boss. If I would kill this, is this like as with my same reasoning as with my Mulligan? I played around. I always try to play around his best possible play, obviously, even though it's a Reno Lock. I played around the zombie chow with Mulligan, the Secret Keeper away, and now I'm just expecting an Imp Gang Boss to come down on turn 3. Everything that is weaker than an Imp Gang Boss I can beat anyways, right? So I'm trying to put me in a position where I can beat like his best possible play. This is also why I play around like Molten Giant plus Healbot, like Molten Giant plus around Reno. If I can afford to play around it, I will do so. So here, the Hero Power plus Minibot contests the Zombie Chow, and Hero Power plus Abusive Surgeon is still mana efficient next turn, and I can kill the Imp Gang Boss. And this is like from his perspective a really good opener. If he has like the Zombie Chow into life tap Gang Boss against Secret Paladin, that's pretty good. But the way how I played is like I put myself in a good position against that opener. I'm not Naruba. Yeah, it's Narub. Sorry. But you know, I hope you know what I mean. So he has the Zombie Chow into Gang Boss. Like if I would have played any other way, I would be in a terrific position here. But because I expected that, obviously, and I have the Challenger now, so the face damage is completely irrelevant. It's all about board control here. As I said, if he plays the Gang Boss here, I will definitely Abusive plus Hero Power, but I might just not play too quickly. But obviously, I keep this card. I kept this card for this play, and he did this play, so I know what I'm gonna do. So I'm just thinking what I will do next turn, and if there's like any other play that I oversee. Also, if the card that I just drew changes my line of playing somehow, I will just probably just go for the Pirate Shredder next turn. So here even though he had the Imp Gang like the Zombie Chow, and he went first. Like when you go second with any aggressive deck, it's obviously much weaker than going first. So even though he had the Zombie Chow and the Gang Boss, I'm still in a pretty good position. I have board control, and also my Consecration, as you guys can see. He gets the, like, as you can see, when you just think about like how the game goes, like he goes first, he has the Zombie Chow, and he has the Gang Boss, and he has the Implosion for 4. And because I have the Consecration as well, like as a tech, I think it's very important to have it because of the meta. I'm still in a really good position. The only bad thing is I'm thinking here, like here, it's very interesting actually, to be honest, because I drew the Avenge as well. If I play the Avenge next turn, he will most likely not proc it. If I play next turn Shredder plus Avenge, I will probably lose the Avenge gain from the Challenger. Like you always have to think like at least 3 turns ahead before the Challenger with your secrets to see like will my opponent proc those secrets, and am I forced to do Consecration here? And then the reason why I did Consecration is long-term wise, to gain the second Avenge from my deck, it would be better to play Master here plus Avenge. Play Master here, Avenge, and kill the Zombie Chow. But if he has Demon Wrath, I'm in a really bad spot, because I don't want to like my follow-up play would be really bad. I could draw like a turn 5 play next turn, but I would not. He would still have the board. He would get too much value from the Demon Wrath. He just kills my stuff, and he still has his minions. So that was the main reason why I decided to do Consecration. Even though this board is not that threatening, if you do a bunch of 1/1s, I have the Consecration. I can kill it, whatever. And another reason would be Argus. He could Argus and pass, not attack. then I still have to kill all this stuff. And this is like cards that, it's funny, I'm not even looking at the hand, it's actually had both. But like long-term wise, Master for Battle plus Avenge is really tempting here. And then play the Shredder next turn or Consecration next turn. Because like my minions contest this, if he attacks my minion, it gets buffed, he somehow has to kill it with a Dark Punch, whatever. But like the main reason why I went for the Consecration is really Demon Wrath. I was like, god damn, if he has Demon Wrath, I'm gonna lose the game. And he even had that, like he had, for this matchup, he had like an insane like draws. Like for a Reno deck even, because every card is like a one-off. So I was forced to do the Consecration here, and the Consecration is not that awful. But like the value is not even that good when you think about it. It's just 50% of the implosion and below 50% of the value of the zombie chow. So it's basically a 1-for-1 trade. Slightly below 1-for-1 trade with the Consecration. And I'm behind on board, and he's forced to act on turn 5, so there could be a Belcher coming down or a lower tap. But I was thinking, if a low tech comes down, I will probably just Aldo Peacekeeper next turn. I was actually thinking that. So I have a play for next turn as well. And I could just like, yeah, whatever. Aldo Peacekeeper, Hero Power is fine. And I could still draw 2-drop. So that's low tap. And draw Minibot, so for me this is like a no-brainer play. Just go for the Aldo. It's like reduces his health by 4. It's a pretty good value against Reno. I get the board. My board contests this guy. And I have the Challenger plus board, plus 2 minions on board. Easy play. And I don't want to play the Avenge. Like, it's no-brainer to not play the Avenge from hand when I can get an Avenge from Challenger. So there's like 2 ways to approach this, to play the secrets. And they will be procced before the Challenger comes down and fishes new secrets, or you play the Challenger first and then play the secrets afterwards after they get procced. So you don't want to lose Challenger value. So he killed my shield, so I basically just kill his minion, ignore his guy. So even though he had like really good draw, I feel like I'm in a pretty good position, but it's very difficult to play around Reno. At some point, you're very worried about the Molten Giants, because I feel like the only way how Reno wins or comes back dominant on board is with the Molten Giant. People still talking about Priest. Priest is not a class, guys. I think nobody in the tournament had Priest. It was very expected. From a player field with a lot of good players. So there's the Dr. Boom, Dr. Doom. If you have no answer, it's Dr. Doom. And I don't really have an answer for it, so it's pretty much Dr. Doom here. So, okay, this is like what people didn't understand. This is like all maths here, right? It's all probability. You cannot, I cannot emphasize this enough, you cannot control the outcome of boom bots. You can only put yourself in a really good position. And first of all, I want to talk about my draw. I have only 1 secret left in my deck. I had already Avenge, like I fished 3 secrets out with my Challenger, and I had second Avenge in my hand and a Redemption in my hand. So Competitive Spirit is out as well. So I fished actually 3 secrets. And the only secret left in my deck is Noble Sacrifice. So that was the worst draw in my deck. So this is why you'll see this funny face for me. You can actually not see it. I'm gonna show it. This phase means I drew the only secret left in my deck after I played Challenger. So this is like a Fields Batman phase. So here, against Secret Paladin, against the Reno Lock, you have to clear the board. It's all about board, because you cannot go face, you get punished by Reno so much, it's ridiculous. And you get punished by Shadow Flame. So here, I give all my minions priority levels. I don't care, like when I'm like in a very high tournament, I'm not like tilting, I'm just like trying to put myself in a good, best possible position. Like I don't really think about those 3 secrets that I have in my hand. I just think about the best possible position, and I give minions priority levels. So the number 1 priority level is obviously the 7/7 challenger, and preferably I want those boombots to run into my challenger and then trade into the Dr. Boom. Second priority is my Aldo, the free Aldo, and the number 3 priority is my free. So there's like a lot of different ways to do this. I can trade my challenger into this value trade. Kill 1 boombot with the master, and maybe kill another boombot, and then I die to lose the game to Shadow Flame. Or I do this, I get BGH'd, and then the 7/7 lives, so it's bad. So there's another option. I do this trade, do those 2 trades, and do this trade, do those 2 trades, and then just get BGH'd and his boombots. But the thing is, what speaks heavily against this trade is my hand. I'm out of cards, basically. I don't run Divine Favor. I didn't take Divine Favor because I'm banning Freeze Mage, and the only matchup where you would want Divine Favor is basically this one here, Reno Lock. So I kind of have to beat this without Divine Favor, and I'm out of gas. Even if I would draw my second challenger here, I would not get any secret. So it's worse than Bold Fist Ogre. So basically, this is what I have to win the game. And to draw the Dr. Boom here is not even likely, or to draw the Tyrion. But even if I draw them, if I trade, like I have to top them next turn to like have a chance if I just sacrifice my whole board. So this is a really, really bad position. So I feel like I have to clear the board as good as possible, let the Dr. Boom live, hope he doesn't have Shadow Flame, and I have to push damage, face damage here, because I have 3 secrets in my hand. It really, the line of play really is dependent on your hand. It's the same with Hunter. Hunter is like the best example. If you only have burst damage cards in your hand, if you have double kill command, double quick shot in your hand, your game plan is to smork him. If you have double Highmane Dr. Boom in your hand, the game plan is to control the board, but my hand is, I have no, I cannot win value game against Reno Lock with a hand like this. So even though, like if my hand would be Dr. 7 and Dr. 8, you know, my play would be simple as hell. I trade those 2 minions into this Dr. Boom and trade my challenger into this Twilight Guardian. But first of all, this is also like high pressure situation with all this like 70 seconds time and so forth. But I still make like, I'm pretty happy with like every decision I made during this tournament. So, but yeah, if I do this and then play the, like, okay, if I trade those 2 in and play this and play the Master, if I play Master here, then I want to play Shredder as well, because it's mana efficient and I need the board. And I had to hit the Boombot. He has a 1 in 5 to kill my challenger, which feels pretty bad, man. So if that would happen, I would also lose the game. So it's tough. And also, when I play the Master, I definitely want to hit 1 Boombot, because he could have, like, as I said, I played around Demon Fire before, so if he had it, he would still have it. And also same with Hellfire. I have not seen a Hellfire yet. I'm like a really, really bad position here. And I cannot really say, like, from not knowing my opponent's hand, is I can put him on certain cards. I haven't seen Hellfire yet, I haven't seen Shadow Flame yet, and I haven't seen Demon Fire yet. So I'm very forced to attack his 1 Boombot with my Master for battle and take the chance that it hits a 1/1, because I expect an AoE from him next turn, for sure. But yeah, I cannot win value gain with this hand. I drew all secrets and I have no card draw, so I'm in a really bad spot. So for my thinking, the best play here is to play the Master first, hit 1 Boombot. That was probably like the most difficult play I played in the whole in this whole series. As I said, those, okay, and the Shredder has also another priority level. Try to like follow me here, because it's kind of important. The Shredder has a higher priority level than those 2 guys, but it has like a lower priority level than this guy. So I rather protect the 7/7 than my 4/3 Shredder, but I rather protect the Shredder than those 2 guys, if that makes sense, because it has Death Rattle. Against AoE, I need the Death Rattle. So my first, because I want to play Master for Battle and Shredder here, because he didn't proc my Avenge and Noble Sacrifice, so those 2 are no plays, and Redemption is obviously here also no play, because I have Noble Sacrifice out. So and Master plus Hero Power is not an option from my thinking, because I can top deck Dr. Doom, Dr. 8, and then I cannot develop the Shredder. So right now, because this shredder has a higher priority than those two guys, and it increases the probability that one of those 4 guys gets hit by the boombot by 1. It's better to master for battle first and attack a boombot. So the chances, so if this guy gets hit when I play the master for battle first, it's a chance. This is a good hit for me if this one gets hit. The only 2 bad hit targets are those 2. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 2 in 7 that those get hit, and then it's 1 in 2 that it gets killed, because both of them have 3 toughness. Okay? You follow me so far? So you have to first of all win the 2 in 7 that those 2 guys get hit, but then you have to still win a coin flip that they die, because they can get hit by 1 or get hit by 2. So because this shredder has a higher priority than those 2, it's better to play the master, take the boombot. And I also explained like the line why just this trade is not good, because of my hand quality. And usually you don't want in a tournament to do those doom bots to do evil stuff to me, but as it turns out, it was a very difficult turn from my perspective. But yeah, it's all probability, so I went for the Master for Battle first, and I think it's definitely correct. Even afterwards, after seeing, I just wanted to really like explain why I did that. So obviously I hit one, and now the rope is ticking. Yeah, I'm not playing the shredder first, obviously, because I explained it that the shredder has more value than those 2 guys. So this is the first hit, and now the casters trash talk me. Oh my god, he gets punished. It was definitely correct, because yeah, it's very unlikely that those 2 die, and I need them. Yeah, I need them to trade into the Drake, and I don't want this guy to die and so forth. So okay, now this is why I played the shredder first. Now the priority level changes. By the way, look. This is very interesting actually, because my Aldo Peacekeeper died. The priority level changes. So here's 1 boombot left. So yeah, the reason why I didn't attack is because I wanted to trade one of those 2 guys into the second boombot, right? I forgot to mention that. If I attack with the weapon into 1 boombot, I need one of those 2 guys to attack in the other boombot. But in the worst case scenario, if a boombot hits one of those 2, I cannot attack it, right? So I cannot attack with one of them. If I attack face with one of them, like let's say I attack with the minibot face, and then the boombot kills the Aldo Peacekeeper, then I have no minion to deal with the boombot. Because as I said, I wanted to kill 1 guy, that is this Azure Drake. Like if the boombot hits my challenger, I kill that boom. And if the boombot ignores my challenger, I will kill the Azure Drake as a value play, because I have to play risky at this point. As I said, I cannot play around Shadow Flame, and I need to get value out of my Noble Sacrifice, because I have another Noble Sacrifice. I'm maximizing my hand and my current board state. So I cannot attack face, and the face damage is completely irrelevant at this point. And I think the best line of play is really to get maximized, yeah. Every single card basically I have. So I cannot attack with those 2 minions first, obviously, into the boombot, because the chance is way higher. It's a 1 in 2. It's like 50% that it hits one of those 2, and then it's another 50% that those 2 die if I don't play the master. So it's obviously that I play the master first before I would attack them. And so yeah, and I cannot attack with them because I don't know, the boombot could hit the other minion. So I hit this. And if this one dies, which happened, which is really bad for me, like it was the 1 in 7, and then 1 in 2, which is like 1 in 14. And then when that dies, the priority level changes, so I don't want my challenger to get hit. So if I play the shredder, because now I will trade my boombot, my mini bot, into his second boombot, as I wanted to do with my original line of play. So I have to do that now. My Aldo died. Now I have to hit with the mini bot into his boom bot. And now I don't want this boom bot to hit my challenger, because if it hits my challenger, it's pretty bad. I don't get this value trade, because now I want this Dr. Boom to hit my Noble Sacrifice. So I play the Shredder, and again, that it hits my Shredder is 1 in 7, and that it kills my Shredder is 1 in 14. So I feel pretty safe to play the Shredder, because I feel like hitting the challenger is worse for me than hitting the Shredder. Because if I trade my guy, if I trade my challenger into his Dr. Boom, I got super punished by a Hellfire. So I just basically lose. So I feel like I have to do this value trade. Even Shadow Flame would be better for me in that particular situation than Hellfire, because I would completely ignore this Drake, and then he has 470 Hellfires, and I'm in a terrible spot. So the priority level changes. So now I feel like that I want to protect the challenger from the second Boombot more than the Shredder. So, but what happens is, and those are not even greedy plays. I think those are like statistically the right plays. And then I value trade this, obviously, and yeah, this happens. And the rope was taking. It was usually correct to attack the Boombot first, but I had like 2 seconds left in that turn. And like I had to think fast, like how I change the priorities. So if I had this Boombot, I should have attacked with the minibot first. If it hits my challenger, that I still kill the Dr. Boom. But yes, it turns out it hit my Shredder, and it proc my Shredder, and now my bot is super vulnerable. Like just a Hellfire kills my bot. It feels super bad, man. So now the best proc would be on my challenger, so it survives a Hellfire. So that was actually even a really good proc. But now, yeah, if he had Hellfire here, he could have cleared it otherwise. But yeah, Shadow Flame just punishes me. But as you see, I need this board. Like, I'm in such a bad spot. I would have probably, like, from knowing his hand, I would have lost this game no matter what with my hand. But I think that was still, I needed those Boombots. Okay, I draw the Secret Keeper. Like, I have no player. I play my Yeti here. But from here, I cannot win this game anymore. Even if I draw like Tyrion, as you can see, as Faceless, I would probably just lose to a Faceless. Even if I draw Tyrion into Dr. Boom, which would be like my only way to win, he has the Siphon Soul plus Faceless. I cannot win this game anymore. But I wanted to really like explain why I did that. And you only have like 70 seconds to figure all that out. Was that clear, like why I did that, like how I played it? So yeah, so casters also were saying something like, yeah, now I have to smork him. How am I smorking him? I know I'm gonna win. He hasn't played Healbot yet, he hasn't played Reno yet, he hasn't played Siphon Soul yet, he hasn't played Fascia yet, not a single heal from his deck, and probably Alex Strasser as well in his deck. He hasn't played a single heal yet, and he might still have Molten Giant, even though I didn't see it the previous game, he might still run one Molten Giant. So face is absolutely no option in here. That's like no option, like 0% chance that I go face here. The only way is that I have bought here, I have my secrets here, and that I draw the next following 2 turns, that I draw Dr. Boom, and draw Tyrion, and that he has no answer for it. It's like, from my perspective, the only possible way. I cannot possibly let this Emperor live. It's absolute no-brainer to clear this Emperor. But I was thinking, like, how can I even win this game, you know? Like, he hasn't played his premium cards yet. Except Dr. Boom. But yeah, because he played Dr. Boom and I haven't seen other big threats, like there was no Fugen or Stalak, and he plays Komborok, there's like not many big minions left in his deck. So I was thinking, if I draw my Tyrion and my Challenger and stuff like that, that I can actually win a value game at this point. So it's definitely correct to use the Keeper, and I don't want to put him to... It doesn't really matter. But I kind of need some phase damage here in case I would draw Kings. I think I was... I'm pretty sure I was calculating if I need 1 damage if I draw Kings. So Kings is 8, 11, 12, 13. As you can see, 14. If I would draw Kings, I need 1 damage. I didn't want to attack at all because of an Emperor. Emperor reduction, but I have 5, 8, 9, 10 damage. If I draw kings, it's 14 damage. If I don't do 1 damage here, I cannot kill him with kings, as you can see. So I have to do 1 damage. Obviously, and people were like, oh yeah, he can still do a Molten Argus, whatever. Yeah, but I need the 1 damage to kill him, but he cannot do more stuff. So this is like the absolute highest. It's not the lowest life total, it's the highest life total I can put him on. Because I have an out here. If he would just play minions like against the Hunter game, where he just played like... and I also, like, I would play around MC Tech, obviously, but as you can see, I need this exact amount of damage to kill him. Like, if I top deck a kings and I run double kings, I need this exact board plus kings to kill him. So this is why I cannot afford to play around MC Tech. I'm very behind in this game. And there's a 50% chance he just gets a 1-1. And MC Tech is not a good play. It's like you play 3 mana for a 3-3. It's like, it's good for me. And it's a 50% chance to get this. And I have to take the risk to win the game. So I'm always trying to put myself in the best possible position to win this game. Even though I was like super far behind. And stealing 150%, so I won the coin flip, but it should not matter too much. So Kings is no out here. It's pretty good that he procs the Avenge. That's a good. I want it to hit the 4-1. I have no more secrets left in my deck, so the 1-1 Secret Keeper is completely useless. So there's the Argus. This seems to be looks like a great wall of China to me. And at this point, I know I lost the game, but I'm still trying to do the best out of the situation. For me, it's a no-brainer to trade those 2 1-1s into the 2-1 and then buff the 6-6, so I get the maximum value out of the Cockhammer Divine Shield. And also I toned up the strongest minion, I kill his Sludge Belcher, and I kill the Slime as well. So that's pretty obvious. But at this point, I cannot win this game anymore. You could attack and not hero power. Yeah, that could have been a possibility as well. But I put him on lower life, you know? You want to put him... The thing is, you want to put him on as high life total as possible, right? If I attack... then I need to attack with the minion and with the weapon. Then I put him on 13 and not 14. So that's even worse. That's the difference. Yes, we would play around MC Tech. But as I said, MC Tech is not so bad because he has only 50% chance to get a 1-1, right? If he would play it. And he would not play a big minion instead. And I don't want to put him so low as well. So 1 life, every life matters. So there was like a reasoning for him. It's like whatever, you know. It's like it's probably the same, you know. So just does the combo here and kills me. But it was probably something you can think of to just attack and not play the hero power and play MC Tech. But you die to other things, you know, it's just playing around other cards. So I lost this matchup, obviously tried to win it. When you're 2-1 ahead, you just wanna end it and win the series. So now it's 2-2. Druid versus Paladin, it can go either way, to be honest. It all depends on the Druid draws, actually. I'm favorite if the Druid doesn't draw like Innovates and Rygroves. I don't know if I should skip this a little bit. But yeah. So I have to go for the Paladin, there's only Paladin left, he goes for Druid. I expect mid-range Druid, obviously. Aggro Druid was not very common, I was probably the only one who played Aggro Druid in this tournament. I was trying to skip, but it's like the whole replay is 8 hours long, and every little click is just like 5 minutes. So I just let them talk. I'm going over questions, but people are not asking too much. So in this situation, I go first. Noble sacrifice is like interesting to keep, but you don't wanna like it's not that important, because like if he just wild growths, then the noble sacrifice is instantly super terrible. So avenge, something with this hand I would definitely keep avenge, but noble sacrifice in this particular matchup, if this would be an aggro matchup, I would keep the noble sacrifice. But in this matchup you want to get like more value out of the challenger as well. So mulligan away the secret is fine because it doesn't have such a big impact. And if you keep one secret, there's always a chance to do the second copy of it, and that makes the challenger much weaker. So I have the turn 2 Hound Creep into Master, so it's a fine play. So I actually like this 2-3-4 more than a 1-2-3, even though I go first. Even though drawing a second keeper of all the money is whatever. So because against Druid it's very hard, you cannot play around innovate. Like you can, there's like so many different openers a Druid can have. He can just have the wild growth into Shredder, he can have the innovate into Keeper, he could have like coin into Esprint, he can have turn 1 Living Roots, it's double innovate boom, like double innovate claw. There's like so many different openers, and against every single opener you need a different card to answer it. So I just go for like a more stable play that's like beats a good average amount of hands. So Noble Sacrifice is the worst draw in my deck. Like the two worst draws in my decks are Redemption and No Competitive Spirit. So I drew the Secret, I'm like, but I have no play here. I don't want him, because I play the Creeper, there might be I have a 2-drop plus Secret, so I don't want to play the Master too quickly. If I just snap it, he knows it's my only play. So you kind of want to keep that in mind. Don't want to give out too much information, but obviously it was my only play there. There was like a small chance I just Hero Power plus Secret to play around Swipe, but turn 3 Master is so good, so strong, because you get the value of the weapon. You get so much damage over time. So if those recruits hit one time, it's basically 7 damage with the weapon in total. So here's double swipe in hand. That's pretty bad for me. I don't know that. Usually you play around 1 swipe but never around 2 swipe, just because it's statistically unlikely as 2 swipes, like long term wise, but 1 swipe you should have. So here's the claw. As you can see, if I would have kept the Noble Sacrifice, it's pretty terrible, and I might not have had the Keeper full demand, so I'm kind of happy to have here. Some people suggested that Kings on the Creeper or something were right. It's absolutely terrible, because you have to play around the first copy of the card. Like, you play around the first Druid of the Claw. You always expect the first Druid of the Claw on the 5. And we expect the first Keeper, and we expect the first Swipe. So buffing the Creeper with the Kings is absolutely terrible. This is never right. Never. In no situation this is right. If you put Kings here, then we would buff a 1-1 and make it a 5-1 and attack with it and maybe sacrifice a minion or go with the face. But never the Creeper. It's absolutely terrible. Like, you never, like, this Creeper's already weak to silence, then we make it super weak to silence. It's terrible. So because I have 2 Keepers of all demands, and the Kings is always good with the, because we have the Creeper, we will have the 1-1 minions. It's not like greedy to save it, because the chance is very likely I will have the board, because I will not sacrifice my Creeper. Even if he swipes, I will have the Creeper, so I will have the Kings. It's not like I have 2 Kings here because I have only 1 minion on board. So it's better to use the Keeper because I have 2 of them, and I develop a 3-4. It's pretty good. A 3-4 is better than having like a 5-1 left. So this is why we Keeper here and trade with 2. And I like to protect the board, just to force him to use Swipe, because I want him to use Swipe, because it's like a bad play, he doesn't develop the board. I have a pretty nice board, so, and I take the 4 face damage here because at this point it's not that relevant. there's some argumentation that I could trade a 1/1 in. It's tough to say, to be honest, because I have another keeper as well in my hand, and I have no turn 5 play. My turn 5 play right now is either Kings plus Secret or Keeper of Uldaman plus Secret, and if I Keeper of Uldaman plus Secret, I might just want to buff my recruit, my second recruit, because I have to trade 2 recruits in here, and I don't want, same reason, I don't want to buff my Creeper because it's weak to silence. I'm not gonna say develop, just play. Okay. So I'm taking the free damage here to protect my mana because of the potential Keeper of Uldaman next turn. And again, I wanna buff a minion that is not weak to silence, and also because of I wanna have the minion for later for my kings. So there's the swipe. I'm pretty happy to see a swipe here, like really happy. So I'm not gonna play. It's like a card I don't have to worry about anymore. As soon as you see a swipe, it's usually there's no second swipe. So we drew the mini bot here. So here there's option to kings and go face. That's usually bad because when you play kings, you wanna trade. So my other play would be mini bot plus hero power plus competitive spirit. It would be fine, but it doesn't deal with the minion he plays next. And what, like turn 6 from Druid is usually like a removal turn. Usually you swipe on turn 6. You see Force of Nature, swipe, ref, stuff like that. Ref plus Redder, stuff like that. Keeper on 6 as well. So I kind of wanted to bait a Keeper here, to be honest. Like I was thinking about playing the Keeper for the man plus Competitive Spirit and buff my Haunted Creeper. And usually because he used the swipe, I don't expect another swipe on that turn. I expect a Keeper plus ref, something like that. Or Living Roots plus Keepers, something along those lines. Definitely, if he had a Keeper, I really wanted to like, then I will get later on super good value with my kings. We saw already the swipe, so that is nothing to worry about. And if I Keeper my Haunted Creeper, he will probably silence it as well. It's a free. And then if he Keepers it, I get the Competitive Spirit afterwards, which makes it a 2/2 again. And it makes my 3/4 a 4/5 and contests the Keeper, and I play a Challenger afterwards. And I have the kings that cannot be silenced, so I'm in an excellent spot. This is why I decided if I go kings here and it gets Keepered, it's terrible. And I already Keepered, and I was thinking if I would need my Keeper for like a big minion from him, and I decided that I probably won't because I will be the first to act with my Challenger, and this is then my win condition to just protect my board and go face. So I really like this play here because the Competitive Spirit is really good after the silence as well. So, and if he would have a Keeper in turn 7, he would probably use it here, like Keeper plus like Aspirant or whatever. So it goes for the ref. So as it turns out, he has like a really good play here with the ref plus swipe. So, and I drew, and this is the first one, Fields of Batman. So I draw the Secret right before the Challenger. That's the worst case scenario. I already drew the Competitive Spirit, and yeah, then I draw the second Noble Sacrifice. I play the Challenger, and the only Secret left in my deck is Avenge. So I'm in a bad situation because now I die to Hero Power plus BGH. The Dr. Boom is also pretty bad here. So here it doesn't even look that great, except I draw Cockhammer. So there's no Cockhammer. So here again, what do I do here? It's actually a pretty interesting situation. What the f... Okay. Again, because I have the weapon charge, this is why I didn't attack with the weapon. If Dr. Boom comes down, then I kill a Boombot with the weapon. So obviously, okay, now my thinking process. If the Boombot, because I just saw a ref, and 2 swipes. So because this is again my win condition, this Challenger, and he's at 22 life, and if I go face, he's forced to remove my board and not otherwise. If I go face, he feels the super pressure, and I also have the kings already in my hand, and I can set up lethal, and he has to trade his Dr. Boom into my Challenger. So optimally, I want to achieve that. So I get 7 damage to the face, like 7 damage to the face is equal to like, how much mana is that? 7 mana? It's probably 7 mana. There's like no card that deals 7 damage in the game, but equal to around 7 mana. So 7 damage, there you can see like face damage is like very valuable. And if I can achieve that, I would go face. So obviously I have Noble Sacrifice, I don't want those two Boombots to go crazy. Also Savage Roar, yeah, you don't wanna let Boombots live because of Savage Roar. Druid of the Claw, Savage Roar, turn 8. Might that even be lethal? That's 10, 17, 18, 19, 23. It would be off lethal, but the Boombot might even achieve some crazy stuff. So it's definitely bad. I would have no bot left and I'm in a bad situation. So obviously attack with the weapon into one Boombot. So if the Boombot hits my face, I don't really care because he loses the Boombot, so he doesn't have any damage for that. I'm not too scared of BGH because last turn he would have done Hero Power plus BGH 100% if he had it to kill my guy. You use Dr. Boom only if you don't have that. So I'm pretty convinced he doesn't have a BGH in his hand. And if the Boombot hits face, I can develop the board with Shredder and Minibot, which is really sick. It's a very sticky board, and it should be very difficult for him to kill it. And he doesn't have the mana for full combo yet. He only has 8 mana, so I can push face damage. So if the Boombot hits my guy, for 1 damage, I go face. If it hits for 2 damage, I go face. If it hits my guy for 3 damage, I go face. If the Boombot hits my challenger for 4 damage, I'm down to 3 toughness. So my challenger is a 7-3. If my challenger is a 7-3, I absolutely must trade in his Dr. Boom for 2 reasons, obviously. It's a super favorable trade, first of all, to trade a 7-3 into a 7-7. And my guy dies to everything. Like, if he would Savage Roar, he can attack with his face into me and then clear it with the Boombot. Actually, he cannot do that because... But I would play... Like, if I play stuff, because I will play stuff here then, and the damage doesn't get on my challenger, then the Boombot can just trade into my challenger. It's awful. So... And I die to Ref. My guy dies to Ref. Like, I would not play around, obviously, Swipe, because Swipe is gone. If I'm a 7-4, he can also not trade the Boombot into my challenger and yeah, get like a good trade like that. But if it hits my challenger for 4, I think it's right to trade. I'm 100% convinced it's right to trade. Only if the Boombots hits my challenger for 4. And unfortunately, this is exactly what happens. And I'm 100% sure. This is why I'm making this expression. You can actually, I'm gonna show that because it's kind of funny. This is because this goes through my mind in that situation. If it hits my challenger for 1, 2, and 3, I go face. If it hits my face, I go face. But if it hits my challenger for 4, I must do this trade. Trading the 7-3 into the 7-7 is too good. I die to second Ref, I die to Spell Azure Drake plus Living Roots, I die to Savage Roar, I die to too many things. So I wanted to go face so badly, but at this point I cannot do face. This trade is too favorable, and I'm not in a bad situation, obviously, because I'm always doing favorable plays, right? So trading this is not a bad play, and then I play minions and I have the board. But this is bad because you don't want your challenger to die to 1 Boombot. Basically, this is what just happened. I don't blame, like, no, don't blame him, man. I think he played good and everything. It's just what happens in the game. Like, players have to deal with it. It's just we have those cards and we play with those cards. I'm just saying, like, what happens. So I think it was definitely correct. Whoever says going face here, I don't know. You're probably not. I don't know. Like, you have to explain it. I think it's pretty stupid to go face here. I haven't seen Savage Roar yet, and you definitely have to put him. Always you play around the first copy of the card, always. So we obviously put him on a challenger. It's not too awful. This board is not too awful to control the board, and I can still draw cards. So the only bad card in my deck would be this Avenge. Everything else is playable. So if he decides to not attack, so this is very, very unfortunate now every the following turns what happens, because now he decides to draw with lore and he doesn't proc my stuff, which is correct play. Why would you proc my stuff when you just draw cards? So now we have the, oh, this is all good, juggler Renos. So next turn, because especially after you draw lore, we have to expect combo. So combo would be 21, 21, 24 damage. That would not be lethal yet, but you want to reduce the damage, but combo would clear my board. So killing his, like with combo he could clear my board without using his lore, so his lore would survive. So basically I have to clear his board at this point, if I want or not. And I don't have the resources to smork him. So I probably play Challenger. Hero power first, same reasoning. It's very unlikely, like that. It's actually more likely that if I play the Juggler, trade the Shredder, and the ping hits the Boombot, that it kills what comes out of the Shredder, than if I play Juggler, Hero power, and that the Boombot hits my Shredder and kills my Shredder. That's why we don't trade the Shredder first. Obviously, it's very unfortunate if that happens, but it's just probability. But Kings here. I'm just saying if I would play the Juggler plus Hero Power first. I'm just saying if I would do that. Obviously, because I have the Noble Sacrifice in hand and I have Noble Sacrifice in board, then yeah, just trade with the Kings. It's super valuable. I cannot go face with that's stupid. And I almost said, like where I was in the turn, that this is obviously the right play, like to trade. I trade Divine Shield of a 6/6. I haven't seen a keeper yet. I trade the Divine Shield of the 6/6 with a 5/5. So I give up the Divine Shield for a 5/5 minion. So that's obviously a super favorable trade. So every trade I do is like super favorable. So of course I do that trade. And then I go for a minion and I go for the ping. It's like whatever. If it doesn't hit, it's whatever. Because I want to get my secrets procced, obviously. I don't expect him at next turn to not... Like at this point, I feel like... Okay. So the only thing in my mind that I lose to is I draw Avenge and a low cost minion. Like if I would draw now Avenge plus Secret Keeper, I lose. If I draw like Avenge plus Hound Keeper, I lose. But it has to be in that order, I think. Because if I draw the Hound Keeper first, I can play it. But if I draw Avenge, it's like only one secret left in my deck. It's the only card that I would just Hero Power pass if it doesn't proc my secrets. So if that doesn't happen, look, I have the board, I have everything. Even though the things before that were very unfortunate. This is why I go for trades, like super favorable trades. I just need like this Boombot to not do crazy stuff, but also this Boombot is gonna do crazy stuff, unfortunately. So besides that, I'm in a good spot, but my life total is actually not too safe, to be honest. 24 life is not too nice. I don't even know what he did here. Did he play Keeper? Probably. You have to kill. He kills like 4/4 with the Keeper, so that's a good play. And then probably Shredder. Yeah, that's pretty obvious. So then pass, because yeah, he just makes, if he would attack with the Boobot, it just makes my turn. And then I draw the Avenge. Feels bad, man. I drew the Noble Sacrifice when I had only 2 secrets left in my deck, and then I drew the Avenge when I have only 1 secret left in my deck. So this is the only turn, and this is like the only card in my deck that gives me no play. So I was super far ahead on board, super far ahead. But now my turn is like, he develops a Shredder and a Keeper to contest my board, and my turn is Hero Power pass. And I have to play around combo, so at this point, if I don't clear stuff, I'm dead to combo. Because he has 6, 10, 10, 24, 27 damage. 27 damage. So he attacks face, if stuff survives, I'm dead. So I have to clear. I have to do Shredder into Keeper, 100%. 100% of the time. And preferably also kill this Boombot. So, what I'm thinking, yeah, of course I do this trade first, I don't Hero Power. I do this trade first, and then I go with the Shredder, with the Juggler face, and then I Hero Power, and I don't attack with those 2, because the Boombot can kill, like my Juggler could hit the Boombot, and the Boombot could kill one of those 2. I need one of those 2 to kill my guy. Yeah, I need one of those 2 to kill his Boombot. So obviously the highest damage goes face, and then I Hero Power here, this is the correct order. and then whatever, then if the nothing happens with the boom bot, I attack with the hero power phase just to give more probability that it hits a 1/1, and then I trade with the 2/1 into the boom bot. It's the only logical order. And then it hits my Shredder. Feels Batman. And then I get a 0 attack minion. Like this low market show, people think, oh, it's so great for me and he has spells and stuff, but it does do nothing for me. Because he, like, the way how he plays this, like, I have to pause again. I have 4, 5, 6, 7 damage on board. And he knows I had no play. Like, if I had any play, I would have done it, right? If I had any play, any card at all, I would have played that card here. I had like no play. I would have played every single card in my deck in this situation, except the 2 secrets. So he must know I have 2 secrets in my hand. So I have no damage. Like I cannot kill him next turn. So he can do whatever the hell he wants. He could play a taunt. Like he doesn't have a taunt, but he could just pass. He doesn't have to play a secret. Like the damage on my board is nothing. But it's still a pretty tricky situation from him because he cannot set up lethal. Like I cannot know that. I expect him to have Force of Nature Savage Draw. The way how you play double Savage Draw from hand is the same as Force of Nature Savage Draw most of the time. So I put him on Force of Nature Savage Draw obviously, but as we can see he has double Savage Draw. Like the way how you play those 2 cards is very similar. So I cannot know that he has double Savage Draw. So I'm still in a pretty good spot, but honestly at this point I want to have, like with the Savage Draw he could have done nothing. If this, I wanted a 3/2 minion. I wanted to have a power minion on board so I can kill him. I wanted to have damage. At this point I just want to smork him, but 0 attack minion does not smork. So I'm in a really bad spot. Like I'm getting like in a worse and worse position here. But with double Savage Draw, you still need a Druid of the Claw. So without Druid of the Claw, if I trade the board, he can still not kill me because I still have Noble Sacrifice up, and he's not attacking. So, but he has still a play, unfortunately for me, that he can play the Shade and Emperor and just pass because I need the damage. Like, but Kings would be lethal here, right? But it's just like the second Kings, and then I draw a low cost minion. Feels bad, man. In a row. This is what I said, like when I brick, like I had two complete dead draws. It's like the only 2 dead draws in my deck. It's like if he decides to not attack, it's like the 2 left secrets in my deck. And then the lowest cost minion, this or a Secret Keeper. Everything else would be great. So I basically have to kill the guy to play around combo. I think at this point I die to combo anyways. Let me see. 7 plus 5 is 12. It's 26. No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm exactly there to combo. But at this point, I can. Okay, at this point, I can only play around that double Savage Draw and not anymore about Force of Nature Savage Draw because like my win condition is shrinking and shrinking. I cannot kill him. Like I have to kill him basically, but I want to play around combo, but I cannot trade both guys, like my entire board into the Emperor. I cannot absolutely do that because I basically remove my last remaining win condition. I absolutely need to smork him with the Juggler, and there's like another probability, like if he attacks that my Noble Sacrifice hits the Shade and the redeemed minion also hits his Shade. This is like another thing. So unfortunately he draws the Druid of the Claw as well. So this is exactly the card that he needed. And he has exact lethal here. It's 24 damage. But there's still a chance that my Juggler kills the Shade. As I said, I have the Noble Sacrifice and I have the Avenge. I mean the Redemption. Like 2 pings for this. So even now, I still have a chance. And also, if this Lover could show would be a minion with power, I could have attacked killed the Emperor, so I can play around double Savage Draw. But since it has 0 attack, I cannot do anything with this card. And also because I drew the Creeper after the Avenge, I cannot trade the Creeper as well to get pings. I have absolutely no play. So, but it was well played for him, like to be very patient, not proc my secrets, but from my perspective, there was absolutely nothing I could have done to win this game. Except the raw battle. Kings wouldn't be lethal. Yeah, kings. Yeah, because you hero power. Yeah. Kings plus, but that was still like an out. Alright, that were my games. I'm sure your explains about Divine Favor I missed, but why no replies? You just watch the VODs. I'm not gonna... Like, I explained basically everything very much in detail. I think this is like 3 hours long or something. This was way longer than I actually wanted it to be. I wanted it to be like roughly around 2 hours. I went over the deck lists, I went over the games, I explained my thought process. And I, like, sometimes, like, in the actual games, as you guys know, like, you see both hands, but when you're sitting there, all you can do is, like, play around a certain range of cards, and I hope you guys like, I don't know, what's the feedback? Do you guys like it if I... And I will probably like upload it on YouTube, but cut it. Alright, so that's that. Alright, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks, Script Face. It still feels bad, man, but all you can do is try to like navigate you in the best possible decision, like before the event, with the decks you bring, with the lineup you bring, with the strategy you bring. There's like a, as I said, there was no optimal superior lineup. There's like different approaches, and everyone, I think all of their approaches are fine. It doesn't necessarily mean like I had the best lineup, even like I prepared so much, because there's like different strategies. I said there's like, cannot emphasize this enough. It's like what you prefer, like what your strongest, what your mindset is about the strongest deck, or like what you like to play, and then you build a lineup around your deck and your band strategy, and then it can go like different. It's very hard to predict exactly what every single player will bring and with who you will be paired against. Like there were some people that played like Aggro Shaman and Control Warrior. I wasn't lucky enough to face those guys. Yeah, thanks everyone, and I'm gonna take a break.